0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey.
The satire on all of the Eagles and the Phillies, oh my goodness, it was just too hilarious.
His daughter's amazingly a great singer, but I didn't know everybody in the family was that good of a singer. I mean, I absolutely loved it.
Just the mix of the comedy and the singing, you never knew which way they were going to go with it.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey on Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It's another good day in the neighborhood. Joe Biden is still sticking and getting stronger. Remember, each day that he's a nominee is another day of battles back and forth. Today, Mika Brzezinski, who is one of the biggest cheerleaders, didn't like Nancy Pelosi because Pelosi was all over the place about whether he should go or not. Tomorrow's the big test, though, the news conference. If he does completely horrible, but not so horrible that anybody can't deny it, then he sticks. If he gets by tomorrow, I think he's going to stick. The percentages are going to go up. We'll talk about all that with Dr. Ben Carson. We'll talk about Dr. Ben being a VP choice. He's here at 1 o'clock to 1:30 today. 2:30, Dr. Joel Fitzgerald. Great family, the Fitzgerald. We had on the widow of Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, Marissa, on Monday. And Larry Krasner, after 17 months and no real conferencing with the family, came through. He's just not going to do the death penalty. So you should know the family has gone to the Attorney General for Josh Shapiro. I would have called Josh Shapiro's son up, Dan, rather than the Attorney General. That kid can get things done. If that kid says, "No, Dad, I think Joe Biden sucks," you ought to say it. He's going to be out there saying it. They called upon Dan because we have that new SEPTA prosecutor, sort of, even though Biden, Krasner's fighting it. Untermeyer called upon the Attorney General to tag him in since Krasner won't go for the death penalty. Now, that's not been decided yet before the state Supreme Court, but if they decide it's constitutional, this guy will take it up and he'll go for the death penalty. But I think it's even worse. There were rumblings that Krasner might not even go for life in imprisonment. And I know we can all say, how in the world can you get away with this? Well, you got to beat somebody with somebody. Now, I think there's a pretty good somebody out there in Derek Green. I light candles every day that'll run. and that Jarrell Parker will see this as her chance to finally stop this guy. But you have to realize he is probably the top notch of these progressive prosecutors when it comes to sheer, all-out arrogance. This guy is a worthy opponent. He is just a political animal. And stopping him is not an easy task. Logic doesn't matter. You have people in these neighborhoods that suffer crime and all. They cry about it, lighting candles. Larry lets out somebody who probably did it, and they welcome him home. So you're going to get more of it. We'll see. We're going to talk with Dr. Joel Fitzgerald at 2:30. All right. Couple things to start off, though. One, I saw that Glenn, do we have the Trump beard cut yet, Dan? I know you were just getting in the chair.
I'll get that right now.
All right, we have a reason that Trump was asked about why he might not choose J.D. Vance. And remember, who is the biggest guy, and we're going to prove that if you didn't know it, who's the biggest guy pitching J.D. Vance? Don Trump Jr. What do they share in common? Beard. Trump apparently doesn't like the beard. Like Dan,
on your vice president's candidate, word is that you won't pick J.D. Vance because of his facial hair. Is that true?
No,
facial hair.
I've never heard that one.
Number two,
No.
Doug Burgum, the thing that hurts.
Like a young Abraham Lincoln.
Right, he's a handsome man.
Oh, my God.
Are you talking about Vance looks like a young Abraham
Yeah,
Lincoln?
right. Yeah. Not Burgum.
I think Burgum looks more like Abraham Lincoln than Vance.
I
the
think
eyebrows
Trump,
and
Dan, I could
jaunty facial features.
I could see he gets it, he announces it, and they shave him right there on the stage when they're announcing it.
He did have a hair versus hair match in the WWF or WWE.
You and I differ on this, Dan. I am in the camp, now not universally. You've given reasons why, but I'm in the camp that thinks almost nobody looks better with a beard. I really mean that. You think?
Oh, have you ever seen me without a beard?
That's the case you made.
No, I look like a doofus.
I think you're going too far
find
with
a polite
that.
way.
I just don't. I don't see the beard. Just the whole idea.
You'd look better with a beard.
Well, Roe likes the 5 o'clock shadow, the Don Johnson look. Oh, constantly with that. And I can't wait to shave. I feel like shaving right now just talking about this.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's probably
How
gonna
often
be
do you
texting.
shave? You're an Italian guy. You probably have a lot of hair.
2 times a day.
Oh my
sometimes.
gosh.
Well, in the morning, and
Shave
then
like once a week.
If I'm going out, if I'm doing something at all, I'm going to shave right before that. Excuse me, before we do this TV show, can I shave right here?
Really?
Oh, yes. You look better.
Do you keep a razor in your car?
I used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so you're driving with 2 feet and shaving in the.
Come on now. Send me your pictures. Which guys on Twitter at Dom Show 1210? Show us with a beard and without a beard.
Yeah, okay. Minnie, this is an assignment for you. Minnie, please. Photoshop Dom with a couple different beards. We'd like to see it. Yeah.
Even worse, though, Dan, is the mustache to me. Unless you're going to be a porn star. Come on. It's just the mustaches.
There are times like cops can pull them off.
I guess.
They're not porn stars most of the time.
All right. Are we going to elect a president with a mustache? Picture Trump or Biden with a mustache. Oh, my God.
Imagine a curly one that he grew.
So,
media.
Young Abraham Lincoln.
Trump grows evil mustache.
Is that a sign that Vance might have the upper hand? You know, I'm going to play you Don Trump Jr. in a second, but Youngkin did something yesterday, Dan, that shows the type of thing that he does that I think is appealing. He banned by executive order cell phones, student usage in public schools. All right, so this is the type of detail, suburban type of stuff this guy brings. And think about this math for a moment. Trump can get to 270. That's what you need to win without Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan. All he has to do is keep what he did in 2020, win Georgia and Arizona. And I've been on record saying Georgia and Arizona, if not a lock, they're pretty close to it. Biden's not coming back in Georgia and Arizona. Or Harris. There is no way. Virginia would put him over the top. So isn't that something you got to think about with Glenn Youngkin? If Trump wins just what he did in 2028, adds Georgia, not even Nevada, just Georgia and Arizona, which he's well ahead. I mean, he looks really, really good there. He doesn't even have to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan. Virginia would do it. Boy, how fitting. Virginia would put him over the top. I think that's a pretty good argument for Youngkin, along with a great number of other things. But here's Don Trump Jr. on his podcast, Twitter, on Rumble, Twitter, talking, first of all, about Dr. Ben Carson. This is 7A. He'll be our guest at 1:30. Here's what he said about Dr. Ben.
If we're talking the VP stakes, what are you guys thinking right now? Everyone knows I've sort of been for J.D. Vance, but whether it's Marco Rubio or
Beards
Doug
bond
Burgum
together,
seem
Dom.
to be some of the biggest contenders.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you guys, and including myself, would Ben Carson be great in that role? And I think he'd be perfect in that role at any other time in history.
There we
right
go.
Now.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is I think he's literally too nice to deal with the sociopaths that we'd be dealing with, whether it's the media or otherwise. And we need to be able to play on that front. And unfortunately, that's not the easiest thing for anything.
All right, so Dr. Ben, too nice. He is very nice, Dan. He'll be here at 1:30 today. We asked him about Biden. We asked him about the VP stuff. Then he takes a shot at Rubio, though. And I kind of get this with Rubio. He's very suspect in MAGA land, Little Marco, the whole thing with the hand size and other sizes during the 2016 campaign. Here's what Don Jr. said about Marco Rubio.
Rubio guarantees another impeachment. It has to be Vance or Vivek. I mean, listen, there is, and again, I have a good relationship with Marco, but there is some truth about having someone that's a little bit more establishment in there. It's wouldn't the Senate rhinos, wouldn't they love that? I joked, I said that about Nikki Haley. It was if it gets her, by the time my father's hand moves off the Bible in the swearing in process on what's the date? Is it January 20th? 12 p.m., January 20th. The second it goes off, it would be impeachment and gone. That's how fast it would be. And so there is something about having someone from outside of the establishment to sort of further protect you from that establishment.
All right, so he's calling him a rhino, et cetera. We get that with Rubio, there's an issue there. The Burgum love with Trump is the strangest of all, and in the end, that's why I don't see it. Don't see some wild card out there either. It's going to be some of the people we've been talking about quite a bit. All righty, 855-839-1210. Now, Vice President Harris this morning, interview with The Nation, progressive, right? Talking about that she stands that the people that have been protesting Gaza, the people that, college campuses and everything else, they have the right human emotions. Now, just as we told you, one of the things she helps them with, you got to look at reality, if it's Harris, is the mob. The mob might come home to the Democrat Party because they know she hates Israel. They know it without a doubt. So she tells the nation, these people that we saw on college campuses, the anti-Israel student protesters, are showing exactly what the human emotion should be. Think about it. What did she say about October 7th? Anything like that? No, she never will, and she hasn't. It's not even a hint how far she would go with this stuff. She said to the nation, I strongly believe that our ability to evaluate a situation is connected to understanding the details. Yeah. Not speaking of myself versus the president. From the beginning, I've asked questions. The trucks are taking flour into Gaza. But here's the thing, I like to cook. So I said to my team, you can't make blank with flour if you don't have clean water. So what's going on with that? I ask questions like that. Can you imagine this moron? Yeah, how about asking the question about Hamas? What flour is going in there? They don't allow any of this stuff. I was asking early on, what are the women in Gaza doing about sanitary hygiene? Do they have pads? Here's the issues that make people feel uncomfortable, especially sanitary pads. Can you imagine?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, sanitary pads and flour. These kids on college campuses are exactly right. But this is where she'll go. It will be much more radical than Biden. Is that a winning ticket? We don't think so. All right, 855-839-1210. Let me give you the side question today. Last night, Bryce Harper came back to the lineup. Paul George reported to the Sixers, the news conference the other day. Two guys, two big stars, both in common 2 first names. Now, Dan, I've seen some people that said don't even trust people with 2 first names.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I
It
don't know
would be hard
why.
to trust someone named Paul George.
Yeah, it's like they can't figure it out. Get a last name, buddy.
I knew a person named George Paul in high school, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very odd.
All right, so I'm going to take off the board Paul Harvey.
Okay, yeah, oh, that's
and
2.
A fictional one, Clark Kent.
Uh-huh.
And Jon Stewart.
They're all good. I like those.
Okay, give me one. You have a killer one?
Well, Dean Martin.
That's a great one.
And then behind us, you hear Beyond the Sea by who? Bobby Darin.
Yes.
But Darren spelled differently. But Darren is a first name, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really like Dean Martin, though. That's a great one.
All right, thank you.
All right, 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is push pound 1210. So this idea that the VP race is just mere cosmetics is so ridiculous. Think about it. If Glenn Youngkin gets tagged in, now everybody has him on the list in the top 4, and he wins Virginia. He pulls Virginia across the line. Trump is president, in my view. If Josh Shapiro gets into the ring as Harris is VP, he could pull Pennsylvania across the line. Yeah, he could. Think about that. The consequence, the VP slots could be enormous here. All right, phone lines. Dan is saying, what is it with Trump? Now, Dan, he's not going to pick someone taller than him. Burgum is 5'8". Rubio is 5'9". I would tell you this, though. Rubio projects bigger, Dan. I did that event with him.
You think so?
Yeah, he projected like he's 5'10".
I think out of all of them, he projects the smallest.
No, he did. Well, he was really hot then. I mean, he was the star of the. Vivek is 5'9". J.D. Vance is only 5'7".
Apparently, according to Google.
He looks bigger than that.
He does, but I don't, yeah.
Did we see a pattern here with Trump? He's not picking somebody who's going to look anywhere. He wants to dwarf them. By the way, Barron Trump looked incredible last night, waving to the crowd, doing the fist up.
Yeah.
The suit. Where did he get that suit? I want that suit. It was perfectly fitted. The hair was
probably
coiffed.
a $40,000 Italian tailored suit, you know?
Yeah, and he looks like he's about 6'8" to me.
I think he is. I think that was the report, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was picturing you, but he projects even taller. You know, he looks like he's an even taller.
Well, he's allegedly 6'9", according to the Googles.
Okay.
Yeah.
It figures. Trump's 6'3". She's about 5'11", 6 feet. All right, 855. Is he picking short guys? Is that what it takes to be on the list here?
And little Marco's not so little anymore.
Yeah, in comparison to these guys.
Yeah, they're all average, same height.
Will he wear cowboy boots? 855-839-1210. Hit us with that. 2 names and your reaction to what's happening here. It's a good day. Democrats are all over the place. Nancy Pelosi on Morning Joe says, well, you know, maybe Biden should go. Whoa. And then she says, but it's his choice.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I mean is, though, every day that this goes on, it's paralysis. This is exactly what you want. So, Dan, I'll tell you this. I'm rooting tomorrow that they have Biden all juiced up for this news conference, and he comes out, and it's the best we've ever seen. Can you agree with me on that, or can you not?
Yeah. Depends what time it is. What time's the press conference?
No, I mean, do you hope he is juiced up and
able
to get through?
Oh, yeah. I hope they continue kicking this can down the road and keep him as a candidate. Yeah. You've won me over these past couple of days, Dom.
And then I think maybe the news that night will go, well, you know, maybe Joe will be back on the train. He didn't look so bad today. It looks pretty good. Yes, that's exactly what. You're not getting away from the debate. I don't care what you do.
Joe's back on the horse.
And I'll play you coming up. President Trump has challenged him to a golf match, giving him 20 strokes. Dan, I'd have to take Trump in this. 20 strokes is a lot. But I don't think Biden can break 110. I don't know if he can finish.
Does Biden have to carry his own clubs?
Yeah, that's the other thing. If he has to walk, that's what I would say. Both of them have to carry their clubs. Now, Trump carrying his clubs, I don't think can break 80. But I think he could shoot around 80. Biden might shoot 150. Who knows? We might run out of pencils.
Shameless plug for the Great Shore Bar. Should they get mulligans, Dom?
Thank you. We'll have to ask Johnny Z, would you give Joe Biden a mulligan? They would need mulligans for a half hour before they found anything. I don't know that Biden can drive a ball 100 yards.
I don't think so.
855-839-1210. You get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Rich Zeoli. Rich Zeoli.
Congressman Byron Donalds, the man himself. Any comments on Biden's executive action on the border?
The man is gaslighting the American people. The reason Joe Biden is doing this is because his poll numbers suck. Let's just call it exactly what it is. Don't mince words. His poll numbers suck because he sucks as a president. He's terrible, and he's got to do a fig leaf of reversing course. And that's what this mess is today. America, do not be confused by this charade and this sham.
Rich Zeoli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. And on the free Odyssey app.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, welcome in, everyone. Dom Giordano's show. Minnie, thank you so much for getting back to us. No beard at Dom Giordano. That's a good thing, but the reason why is not a good thing. Our thoughts and prayers with Minnie and her husband, Hurricane Beryl. Dan, no power, and I guess heavy wind and all that. So kind of life-threatening there. Minnie, thank you.
Some tough times for Minnie down in Texas, our Photoshop extraordinaire and one of our great YouTubers. So
I don't think anybody nicer that over the years in talk radio, right up there. I mean, it's hard to imagine that you could find somebody like that found us in the heart of Texas.
We're happy you see the sunshine on the other side now, though, Minnie.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Minnie, as soon as you're recovered, try that beard. Give Dan an Abraham Lincoln one. Man, J.D. Vance, young Abraham Lincoln, Trump. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sure he said something, and you're going to do something about the beard, right?
J.D. shows up with a big top hat at the Republican convention.
And stilts. He's going to need it to get to Lincoln's height.
All right. Just hangs upside down from a basketball net like you did when you were a
That's
kid.
True. I think I gained an eighth of an inch by doing that, Dan. So come on now. Every eighth of an inch adds up. All right. So Don Trump Jr. making the point. Yeah, I don't think Trump world trusts Rubio fully. But they realize pockets of Latinos in states like Pennsylvania, right here, Allentown, places like that. Does it move the needle? Maybe a bit. But the VP this time around really could have impact. On the Republican side, if Youngkin could deliver Virginia, and I'm not saying it wildly, it's within a margin of it's right there. I think Shapiro arguably can deliver Pennsylvania. Now, we have Scott Presler in the on-deck circle. I'm sure he's not going to let that happen. And my antagonism is so severe toward Shapiro and the nonsense he gets away with. But you got to realize the media loves this guy. If he's the VP choice, it'll be crazy time here in Pennsylvania. All right, let's go to Dave in Bensalem on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Dave, afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
Good, Dave.
Listen, I'm only calling because I agree 1,000% with Youngkin for a VP. I think Trump has Ohio already locked up. So
yes.
I don't think he needs Vance. And Virginia would be great.
Well,
And as far as
remember this,
Chicago
Dave. Remember this. If he wins, he'll win the states. There's no doubt that he won in 2020. If he loses Georgia or Arizona, he's not going to be president. That's how much I think he's ahead that we can see. So if you win Virginia, you don't need Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, or Michigan. Even if Biden got him, Trump is still president.
Exactly right. I agree with you 100%. I think he's a great choice, especially now he's got rid of them cell phones in the schools. It doesn't get any better than that for me.
Dave, yep, he knows the suburbs. Go ahead. What else do you have?
Yes. Anyway, I got those two first names for you. A guy I went to high school with, his name's Henry George.
Henry George. All right. Dan, the all-time great student name that I had, I think this is one of the first years I taught, was in the suburbs, not in Jersey. Mona Lisa Jackson. You don't forget a name
That's
like
a great
that.
name.
I know, Mona Lisa.
How old was that caller that we just had? Henry George was born in 1839.
Well, he said a friend he went to school with him.
Yeah, but
So maybe they named
there was a
after-
Henry George from Philadelphia that was
there?
immensely
Okay.
popular in the 19th century America and sparked
That's
several
right.
reform movements in the progressive era.
It's a property tax guy.
I was gonna say, is he 250 years old? The guy that just called us?
Isn't he the property tax guy? It's
Progress and Poverty.
Yeah, it's progressive delusion.
Yeah, land value taxation.
Yeah, that's it. They love that guy. All right, here is Maggie Haberman, who is one of the real staunch anti-Trump people out there, but she has some pretty good contacts in Trump world. Here's what she said about the rally yesterday on CNN with President Trump in Florida. How was Trump feeling?
Do you think Donald Trump, does he want to run against Biden?
Yes, I do. I think that I think the idea of not having Biden in the race has been of concern to a number of Trump advisors. Whether they would say that or not, I think is openly is a different issue. I think that they know what a race against Joe Biden looks like, or think they do, and they felt obviously very good about what happened in the debate. A change in that would potentially impact their calculus for what the next 4 months look like. So the fact that President Biden is digging in and telling his critics in the Democratic Party that he's not going anywhere is something that the Trump team is delighting in.
Absolutely. In politics, it's the known. They know what to do with Biden. They know there's no going back from that debate. What they saw in the debate, they may not do another debate. They own it. Everybody saw it. 51 million people. They've seen it virally. It plays into everything. Plus, there are going to be more slip-ups. Who knows how catastrophic with Biden. With her, you think she's more unpopular. You think America cannot elect her. How did she get to be VP? But you don't know. You don't know until you go through it. So why would you want to chance that? This is about one thing in the end, winning. Not, I want to win this way or that way. It's about one thing, getting over the finish line and being president. Everything else flows after that. Just win, baby, win. It's Al Davis. It's the economy stupid. I would put up the Al Davis, win, baby, win. Al Davis, the Oakland Raiders, Dan. That means they had some pretty suspect carry. They weren't suspect. They were outright criminals playing there in Oakland.
Questionable now.
Questionable, to put it mildly.
You would think it might be Andy Reid saying now, huh?
Well, yeah, Andy Reid. Yeah. Let's go.
Shots fired there?
Yeah. Let's go to Joe in Columbus, New Jersey, next on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Joe.
Good morning, gentlemen. Before I get into my selection, here's the pattern I saw with Pelosi. She wants to do everything behind closed doors. She's always done it. She always will. If you go back to that footage with her, Trump, and Schumer, or even, let's talk about this behind closed doors, or you got to sign the bill before you find out what's in it. She's doing the same old garbage again. So why isn't, that's her party's threat to democracy, in my opinion. And people should be worried stiff about that stuff.
Well, I'm not. I differ with you in that it's chaos. They're arguing. Mika, her. There's so many elements. Hillary jumping into the ring behind the scenes. This is all good.
Oh, I was hoping for that breakdown, Dom.
Yeah.
I was, because they can't handle adversity. They can't. And sooner or later, they're going to make that one big mortal mistake that's going to be obvious, I think. I hope.
Well, they've made it. They made it by allowing Joe Biden to hang in there and what he did in the debate. There's no coming back from that.
Well, and they either got to take him out of the next debate, what's going to even look more clumsy, or we're going to look forward to that next debate with with total excitement, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. Joe, who's your person?
Guys, you should have taken this one off the board. John Wayne.
That's a great one.
Yeah, John
Before you
Wayne's
let him
a very
go,
good one. Yeah.
Just want to underline, Joe, very clever, substitution of words there for curse words throughout the call. I highly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, very much. All right. Yeah, that's a good one. John Wayne. We don't take every one of them off. Sometimes we forget that, even if we don't. We leave a couple out there. All right, 855-839-1210. The man of the hour. Picture this guy out in the hinterland, 6'5", extremely long hair, boots, registering voters, and suddenly yesterday we get word, $1 million donor for the work of one Scott Presler. Scott Presler's next. He'll break that down. And, Dan, it's not just Bucks. Luzerne County is another big swing county in Pennsylvania. They had a massive Democrat edge over Republicans. And now it's down to, I think, around 1,500. So he predicts by Election Day, I think, that he'll turn Luzerne County, too. All right, Philadelphia's going to take a little bit longer. All right, he's next. Get in on the side question, too, with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
Over the summer, get a jump on the new school year for your child. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and make the most of these summer months and get a plan in place for your student this fall. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Inflation, recession, interest rates, the Fed. How do you make sense of it all? Join Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Yes, this guy puts in more travel miles than Joe Biden going around the world for NATO and everything else.
He actually knows where he is.
And he knows where he is, though. At least we believe so. And he's got $1 million donor out there. Wow. Finally, somebody has seen exactly what we see. This guy's work is unparalleled. Let's go to the one and only, the persistence. Scott Presler. Hey, Scott, welcome back in. And how's the air conditioning?
Good afternoon. Well, despite the fact that our organization, Early Vote Action, just secured a $1 million commitment, I still am driving around in my 2005 Honda without AC. But listen, this is a labor of love, and we're going to do what it takes to win Pennsylvania this November.
You're better than the politicians. I could see it. I got that $1 million just for you. I have no air conditioning here. Nicely played. Well,
thank you. Well, I won't.
Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I just want people to know that we're the real deal. I mean, even right now, I want to give a shout out to Noah Formica, who's in Belleville in Mifflin County. And I can just report to you within the last couple hours, he just registered a Gen Z Amish voter by showing up at a farmer's market.
Oh, God, it's unbelievable. And good news report, Scott, I told you, texted you yesterday, day before, that listeners each week start texting me, et cetera. You know, what's the number today, the Bucks County number? And we saw it go down again. We're down to 281. Can you get it before the convention on Monday really starts?
Well, whoever thought that people would be excited about Mondays? And it's so funny because people literally, they're like, Scott, every Monday morning, because, you know, we get data around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock from the Department of State. And it's really become a fun thing that people are excited to see the efforts and the impact that we're making. And so, as you mentioned, Bucks County, 4 years ago, it was 15,000 more Democrats. Now it's down to 281. And despite July 4th, despite the holiday, people going on vacation, and Governor Newsom came to town. Failed Democrat Governor California Newsom. They had to bring in the quote-unquote cavalry. And despite his coming to town, the Democrats still lost 76 more voters. And on top of that, now I'm not sure that we're going to get it done before the convention. I'm hopeful. And I mean, we have guys coming in from New York. We have a group of Chinese patriots that also come into Pennsylvania. And all across the Commonwealth, people are working and focusing their efforts on Bucks. But I do want to also bring attention to Luzerne County. Luzerne County is up there in northeast Pennsylvania, right next to Lackawanna and Scranton. Now, 4 years ago, there were 24,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. And as of Monday of this week, that number is down to 1,837. So, gentlemen, we are on the verge, my organization, earlyvoteaction.com, we are on the verge of flipping 2 blue counties, 2 Republican, in a presidential year in Pennsylvania.
And Luzerne County, Scott, in 2016 was pictured, when Trump won Pennsylvania, as the ultimate swing county, every bit as much as Bucks County. So there are 2 of them now, and this one will break before November 2. That's a really good sign. It's inspirational.
Well, and last year we flipped Beaver County. And, you know, everybody says it comes down to Philly and Allegheny, which I understand that, you know, basically if we win 25% of Philly, it's done. It's over. So if you're a voter in Philadelphia and you feel like, oh my gosh, it's so blue, we can't possibly win, just remind yourself, all we need is 25%. But really, the story is, as you guys just kind of mentioned, it's going to come down to 10 other counties that are going to decide who wins Pennsylvania. And those are Northampton and Luzerne and Bucks and Center and Erie and Beaver, but then also places like Washington and Westmoreland. And so one thing that we really are focusing on is, look, I want to be clear, this $1 million commitment we got to Early Vote Action, this is not going to silly television advertisements. This is not going to anything other than hiring boots on the ground. We have already cultivated a really group of volunteers over the last 1.5 years, and now some of those star volunteers we're looking to hire within the next 7 days. It's going to go to immediate face-to-face, boots on the ground, voter registration, door knocking, and I can confidently say that this year in 2024, I think we are going to have the best Republican ground operation that Republicans have ever seen within the span of the last couple decades.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I see you up close. I see what they're doing at the RNC, and I think that you've helped to inspire some of that. Scott, Virginia, you have a lot of roots in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin now has moved into the top 3 or 4. I see a lot. You probably know the math. I told listeners this morning that I think Trump, Georgia, and Arizona, and I know you've been in Arizona, looks really good. Anything could happen, but they look really good. He's going to keep what he won in 2020. If he would win Virginia, he doesn't even have to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Not that we're not going to go after all of them, but what do you think of Youngkin? Is he the type of guy that could turn Virginia? It's a point or two in most polling.
Well, I agree with you with the Sun Belt and that we're looking good in Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia. With that being said, guys, polls are polls. Look at Hillary Clinton in 2016. She thought she was going to win. She didn't. A poll is a poll. I need you guys to work hard. Now, other states are in play like Maine, Minnesota, Virginia. And I'm hearing even, oh my gosh, Trump is doing well in New Jersey. But again, focus on Pennsylvania, please. Now, Governor Youngkin, look, the fact of the matter is if there was any opportunity for us to do really well in Virginia, it was last year. Now, granted, if you look at context, we didn't win the House and we didn't win the Senate, but it came down to a margin of 1 to 2 votes. And furthermore, that margin came down to like 5,000 votes. And a lot of people didn't vote in the off-election year. So is Virginia possible? Yes. Is Virginia in play? Yes. And more importantly, if Republicans and Donald Trump were able to win the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is no pathway for Joe Biden to win the White House.
That's exactly right. I want to win Pennsylvania for so many reasons. Mainly, though, right up there in the top 3 is your work and what you've inspired and what you've done. We saw it up close at Mulligan's. The volunteers, the people you have with you, Scott. It is remarkable. It is both brilliant and old-fashioned in hard work, courting people, those kinds of things. It works.
Yes. Well, and I want to make it clear. So this first round of hiring that we're doing, look, we want to expand. We want to grow. If you want us, again, not to spend money on television, but on direct boots on the ground, face-to-face, quote-unquote, guerrilla, peaceful marketing, then go to earlyvoteaction.com. And if you cannot support us financially, then at least support us by signing up for our newsletter, earlyvoteaction.com. Or, listen, we're also courting Camden, New Jersey. We have New Jersey people coming into Pennsylvania. We're courting Maryland. They're coming up from Maryland. We're courting West Virginia in Southwest PA, right below Pittsburgh. We're courting Ohio, right on the border of East Palestine and Beaver and Butler County. I need all forces to come together. If you want to win this election, we must win Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. Earlyvoteaction.com. Scott, congratulations as always, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Dom. Thanks, Dan.
Scott Presler here on Talk Radio 1210. It's gone into Camden. They're coming here. We got to get into Pennsylvania. Trump's even doing well in New York, but I'm centering in on Virginia. Now, that was not, he's right. In the off-year election, Youngkin couldn't get them over the line there, all right? That was a tougher thing, though. We know the reasons why, abortion and everything else. You got to think long and hard. Could he do that? It's a point, maybe, we're dealing with in Virginia. All right? I still think the best option for them on the other side is they get Biden out by some way, shape, or form, because Trump's going to beat Biden. Can we all agree on that? Based on the debate, based on everything else, you're not coming back from that. Harris is a lightweight of lightweights, but it's an unknowable what the factors would be there. But Josh Shapiro here in Pennsylvania lifts the bar up as far as us taking him out, stopping it, winning. That's what could happen. That's a stronger ticket than Biden-Harris. 2 lightweights. All right? Does Youngkin counter that by taking Virginia? That's what they have to figure out. But I don't know about J.D. Vance being a young Abraham Lincoln. Brian Kilmeade, Dan, doing that interview is probably going, oh, my God. 855-839-1210. All right, hit us with that person with two first names. That's what we're looking for at 855-839-1210. Coming up. Be seated on this one. Dan, you've cut it by now, I guess. It's hard to believe what they've said on The View today, right?
Oh, I got it.
That men, this is comedian, Joyless Joy, don't like Kamala Harris because she's funny and she laughs a lot. And men are afraid.
This projection by Joy?
Yes, if you're joking about that, well, they'll joke about something else that men really don't like. All right, we'll play that coming up. This is, even for these nitwits, this is a Hall of Fame moment. I don't know what the worst moment ever on The View was. It's hard to even imagine. Probably a Rosie O'Donnell moment, something like that. But, man, they're working overtime. All right, I've told you for years about my friend and dentist and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. He's known for helping people overcome any kind of fear and anxiety about the dentist. Doesn't have to be major, but I had a situation of a woman in Ocean City, listen to me, finally, haltingly, went to Dr. Bentz, had not been to a dentist in over 8 years. That's remarkable. Now she's a regular patient. I had a permanent tooth put in recently. I talked about that. You know, and it wasn't a big deal per se, but it's annoying. Bite, 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 clomp down. How many times are we going to run that drill again? First time, fits in. All right, we're out of here. Good night, doctor. That's a 3D printer, the scale of Dr. Bentz. That's what you get even with the most basic dental work all the way up to more involved cases. Make that initial appointment. You'll see the difference, the Bentz difference. It's BentzDentalGroup.com. Or call for that appointment today at 610-272-6949, 610-272-6949.
Next week, Rich Zioli will be at the center of the political universe in Milwaukee and the Republican National Convention. Listen afternoons 3 till 7 every day next week for live coverage of breaking news, the inside scoop from top political experts, what's happening on the convention floor, and the issues that matter most to you.
Which candidate will defend our democracy and freedom? Power always resides with the people. Always.
Rich Zioli live from the Republican National Convention. Afternoons 3 till 7 all next week. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
For eligible individuals 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com jawbraenhance.com/try. jawbraenhance.com/try.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
Don't count on summer heat to melt away those extra pounds. That doesn't work. But here's something that does work, and that's NJ Diet. For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. No shots, no prepackaged meals, and no surgery. NJ Diet is fully supervised every step of the way to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by are available from anywhere with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano show. Dan has had to put all this together, and I know he's got some opinions. Joyless Joy Behar and the girls. Here's her take from, and she must have been thinking about this for weeks. Why is it men that are conservative, Trump and others, have such a problem with poor Kamala Harris? Here's Joy Behar.
I lost it. Give me one sec, Tom.
That was intentional.
Yeah, here it is.
What really ticks me off about him, though, is this laughing Kamala remark. It's such a sexist remark because a guy I was with over the weekend, a friend of mine, they said Kamala's laugh annoys me. Remember they said that about Hillary's laugh, that she was cackling. And men, you know, they don't like a funny woman. We're afraid if you laugh or you make a joke that maybe you'll do that when they're in bed with you. It's like this fear of women's laughing and comedy. God. Yes.
That's very good psychotherapy.
And what was that reference to the Washington Monument? Well, looks very much like a penis to me.
You're on fire today.
Just saying.
I think it's interesting that you say that. Let's face it, the reason he brings up Kamala, the vice president, is because he's afraid of her. Because he knows what a strong candidate she is.
Yes, obviously you smell fear when he comes up with the name of someone.
All right, if she were so strong, they would take even more drastic measures to get Joe Biden out of there. She's only strong in that they know they can't jump over her. That's the only strength that's there. Can you imagine, though, what do women get from this? What is the play here? And Dan, I've asked the architect of all this, Barbara Walters. Remember I told you that story. It was a Clinton book party. And I may have said, can't you get some more normal and entertaining women? Oh, man, that didn't go over so well. It's just stunning. Can you imagine a guy being with Joy Behar or Sonny Hostin, even the newsreader or the Viper left over from the Trump campaign? My God. And they wonder why men, in their view, are so, in quote, misogynistic. Just look at what they're putting us through.
So she is married.
Right?
A school teacher.
Okay.
2011. They were together for 29 years prior. It took him 29 years to propose to her.
Wait a minute, Dan. He didn't propose for 29 years?
Wow.
Oh, that guy.
And he has quite the mustache. Well, we're on facial hair today.
Oh, we're on facial hair. Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Any other factoids that might...
I could probably find some more if you want to know about him.
But Kamala's funny.
Second husband.
Okay. Oh, second husband.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not 29 years it took. God.
They have a Shih Tzu named Bernie, named after Bernie Sanders.
Well, remember the Bernie Sanders arouses her.
Yeah,
we used to play that. Right.
He kind of looks a little bit like Bernie Sanders.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
so
what it's about.
Why, yeah.
But the thing here is just why is this the view of women interacting with men, that we couldn't have a more, the other show's even worse. They're dumber. The show that was on later in the afternoon, The Talk or whatever, Dan, used to watch that.
The one with Sharon Osbourne?
Yes, that was dumber, if you can imagine. God, it's stunning. She's not funny. There's nothing she says. We're mocking her, not because it's funny, because it's the word salad type of stuff. And men have to watch certain things that are politically liable. Women have to watch the cackle laugh. Yeah. Hillary doesn't have it. I think Kamala Harris is much more than Hillary. And it's not just men. It's women that are not in love with Kamala Harris. If that were the case, why did she drop out even before the first vote was cast in 2020?
I do have more info on Joy and her husband.
Okay, here's a little bit more.
No, this is Joy and her husband.
Oh, yeah.
So they were going to be married in 2009, 2 years prior to their actual marriage. But she called him her spousal equivalent up until that point. But she got cold feet and broke off the engagement. She said she wanted to wait until all the parents were dead so she'd have no in-laws. He has none.
Oh, my God. What?
I think it was a joke. It's a bad joke. Because marriage is mostly about in-laws, I find. They always want you to visit them and come for lasagna, is what she said. But she also said that her and her husband wanted to wait for gay marriage to become legalized before tying their own knot.
You know, we get her, but the guy that would choose, she can't choose not to be her, but the guy that would choose to marry Joy Behar, that's the interview we need. All right, let's go to Steve in Bordentown, Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Steve. Afternoon. What do you have today?
How you doing today, Dom?
Good, Steve.
I have Toby Keith.
All right, tell us why you like that one.
Toby Keith, well, I think he was a great musician, died too young, and he was a patriot. Remember after 9/11, the songs that he put out?
Oh, yeah.
Good man.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a good man.
Yeah.
And also, you had a guy working there, too, Irv Homer. That's how long I've been listening to you guys. That's kind of two first names, right?
That's two first names, yeah.
Yeah, Homer is underutilized now.
Yeah.
The great Irv Homer.
Homer
Simpson. Yeah. Very good. Well, we have a Homer that calls us from Belmar. All right, so Toby Keith, we'll put him in. That's what we're looking for today. Paul George coming to town. Bryce Harper back in the lineup last night. Coming up, Justice Sotomayor and the right to armed self-defense. What the heck happened in Washington yesterday? Well, recently. I think it was July 5th, but it just came to light yesterday that we learned about it. That involved the Second Amendment, even in Washington, D.C. That's straight ahead. And at 1:30, we'll talk with Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Joel Fitzgerald will be with us at 2:30. Larry Krasner said, nah, I'm not going to do the death penalty. You got to be kidding me. All that straight ahead.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James B. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
Don't miss Borgata's $1.5 million Summer Showdown. Now through August 31st, 1,500 winners will earn a share of $1.5 million. Plus, 2 lucky players will win a 2024 Ford Bronco or Jeep Rubicon. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday, including 2 grand prize drawings on July 27th and August 31st. The $1.5 million Summer Showdown, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Players must be present to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For eligible individuals 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, Dom Show. Welcome in, everyone. The chairman of the Fed is many times really prominent, sometimes not. I think Jerome Powell is pretty prominent. And Dan, there was testimony today by Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. You can get this on Grabian whenever you have a chance. Jerome Powell said there's no data to support the claim that price gouging is causing inflation. And I used to be able to, I'll play it in a second here. I used to be able to put up with Bob Casey Jr., Dan, because I've been around him. He is a nice guy in some ways, but maybe that's just demeanor. He's never been put under pressure. This guy is one of the worst. It's like Hunter Biden in a way. All he's done is ride the father's name. He couldn't beat Ed Rendell for governor, even with the Casey name. So he just rode it into the Senate seat forever. And the media just never gets into it with this guy. He's the big architect. It's price gouging. What he did, Dan, was he took where these companies were in the middle of COVID, and then the profits that they made that he says is gouging, and that's where it comes from. Well, that's kind of an unfair barometer. They were getting killed at that point. The whole economy was due to COVID. Here's Jerome Powell, though, Bob Casey. Let's see if the media reports this and asked him a legitimate question, because he's in a tough fight here for the Senate, and that Senate seat could control the Senate. And if we control the Senate and House and the presidency, we're actually going to be able to get some things done. So what would Bob Casey Jr. say to the head of the Fed, who just testified there is no data to support that claim?
So when you mentioned recalibrate policy yesterday in the Senate hearing, was part of your thinking taking a more holistic view of economic conditions?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Chairman, is there any data to support the so-called greedflation? This term greedflation somehow has caused inflation. Is there any data to support those comments?
So we look at it that this inflation has been caused by a combination of, very strong demand and constrained supply. So it was really a high-speed collision between an economy that was reopening. And by the way, there was inflation all over the world at the same time, so these are some common factors. But at the same time, you had tremendous demand, for example, for automobiles. You had constrained supply because there weren't enough semiconductors, long story short. But, so that to us is what this inflation is all about. So we've observed the sort of healing of the supply side at the same time. Restrictive monetary policy is weighing on demand, and we've seen inflation coming down from those.
So there's no data that supports that gouging of consumers is part of the inflation.
It's been very hard to track a connection with, earnings and things.
All right, but genius, Bob Casey Jr., the Casey name. How many people could be left here in Pennsylvania that look fondly back on the last good Democrat who wasn't allowed to speak of his stance on life at the Democrat convention in 1992? How many of them could be left out there? What the heck is wrong with these people in Scranton in those areas? That they put this guy in there and he tells them, oh, yeah, it's corporate America, Snickers bars. And we're actually having a national debate. I wish they had probed. I know why I didn't probe Powell a little bit more there. He got what he wanted out of it. I would have gone back to all this demand and all that. How about all the reckless spending? What does that do? What does that crowd out? Private enterprise. When the government spends the trillions and trillions and trillions that Biden was throwing in there. That's what caused it. But not data to support the idea it's just gouging by corporate America. 855-839-1210. You'll get a line. All right, that's Jerome Powell. Now, here is Lawrence O'Donnell. Dan and I admire this guy, as you know, because he's willing to come on the show, particularly when we asked him about the hammering incident. Lawrence O'Donnell has a plan for the next debate.
Stop the hammering!
Here's what Lawrence O'Donnell would like. He wants Biden aides and Trump aides, if he has them, to be on stage with
Allow
him.
the candidates to have as many staff as they want. Join them on the stage throughout the debate and make sure that all of them have microphones.
Oh, my God.
And the candidates should be allowed to turn to their staffs and confer with them about anything at any time in the debate. And we should be able to hear everything they say so we can hear if the candidate has competent or incompetent staff. We could hear the candidate overrule some advisors and say something else. We could watch the candidates actually think and process information, including possibly information that they might not know until a staff member tells them or reminds them. A candidate should be allowed to let staff members actually answer questions for them, just as the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, answers questions on behalf of the president around the world, as has every Secretary of State in history.
All right, does he
That's
stop
the
there,
way-
Dan? A nice try by Lawrence O'Donnell. What he's trying to do is deflect from this as if these were such policy-ridden. The American people don't want to hear from a president because Trump doesn't engage in that. They want the top line of the policy. How's this? No tax on tips. Next question. Deport. Yes, we are going to deport people. It's not the minutia. It's not all the Washington stuff. It's what the policy boils down to for the average person. Not all these wonks feeding up to Joe Biden. It's not about the Washington talk. It's about what the nut policy is. That's what people want. All right, 855-839-1210. That will get you on board. Ben Carson here at 1:30. We played you Don Trump Jr. talking about VP choices. And again, I could tell how hesitant Scott Presler was there, that it's true. Youngkin didn't get them over the finish line in 2023 elections in Virginia, but there were a tremendous amount of headwinds there. I think things are better now. And these VP choices are not going to throw anybody. If it's Burgum, I don't think we're going to have phone lines lit up for days afterward, right? Going, wow. I can remember, Dan, you know who people were excited for? It's hard to believe, given how things have turned out. When Mitt Romney chose Paul Ryan, there was a lot of excitement when we got him on a couple of times. He talked about ice fishing even. I'm not making it up. How could I forget that, right? Boy, that went sour pretty quickly. Paul Ryan, of all people. So there will be somewhat of a burst. Now, if Trump chooses something out of the box that we haven't anticipated, yeah, then there's going to be a lot more. But I'd have to say, I think it's going to be J.D. Vance or Youngkin at this point. And I think you're starting to see some of the clues lining up around that. And I don't think we'll know to Monday or Tuesday, probably Monday, who it is and the rationale behind it. But the big story that's continuing is Biden. And Nancy Pelosi today claiming that on Morning Joe, she didn't do anything that would make people believe that she thinks Joe Biden ought to go. She absolutely did. She left it up to him, not a ringing endorsement. I see some of the problems. Every day that this goes on, as maddening as it is a good day. And I think it's going to go on, if he gets by tomorrow, for weeks. And I think they're stronger if it's Harris and Josh Shapiro. Not that we should be trembling that those two are definitive winners, but I think they have a stronger chance in the end. Biden is done. Keep him in there. You can't get past that debate. That's the bottom line. Particularly that line where Trump said, I don't know what he said, and I don't think he does either, about killing Medicare, fighting Medicare. It was shocking to people who weren't paying attention. To the rest of us, people that listen to talk radio, we're like, yeah, that's what we've been telling forever. And it's not just that the media didn't report it. The media has been attacking people who are saying, just take a look at it. Take a look at what's in front of you.
There are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Yeah, absolutely. That was beautifully delivered by Trump. Now, Trump started to get wound up yesterday, Dan. Another rally. All right, I know he needs to do this stuff. But people are starting to say, you're in agreement now. It's not about the juice. It's not about all that. It's about one thing. They're killing each other at this point. And who knows what this could morph into with Hillary Clinton lurking there. Just stay out of the way. Spend time fundraising, getting your infrastructure right, turning out the vote, that type of stuff. Do not, 25th Amendment. Let's talk about that. I get the game why Republicans, here's how Republicans could use the 25th Amendment. They can use it to go after Harris. It gives us the ability, focus on that. We really don't want Biden out of it. Let's face it. Yeah, but the country, no, we don't want Biden out of it. We don't want Biden out of there till the election. We don't want it at all. Focus on Harris, though. What is Harris and the cabinet doing? Janet Yellen yesterday said, well, we haven't had any talks on this. Why would we? Keep on focusing on a bank shot to Kamala Harris. She's the vice president. She would be the leader. The 25th Amendment would apply to this. If it doesn't apply to this, what does it apply toward? By the way, I'm not a fan of the 25th Amendment. 25th Amendment is incredibly troublesome. Remember, they wanted to use it against Trump. I think there are other mechanisms there, but okay, they wanted to do it. What about Harris? What about the cabinet? Why is she not doing anything? Obviously, people see the difficulty with this. Do not make it about Biden. We don't want anything going now. Since I've been on, Da Nang Dick, the senator from Connecticut, has come out saying Biden's very troubled. George Clooney, he's got to go. And I think, yeah, the Clooney vote. I think they're up to 7 or 8 on record now saying he's got to go.
I do have Da Nang Dick.
Let's hear Da Nang Dick.
I am deeply concerned about Joe Biden winning this November.
What is wrong with the people in Connecticut, Dan, that they elect this guy? My God. Ooh, brutal.
Man of many words.
Yeah, let's go to Diana in Sewell, New Jersey on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Diana.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Good.
I have a question. How can they replace Biden so late in the game? Some states won't allow a ticket change. There's about 6 or 7 states, I believe. So how can they replace him?
Well, that's going to be a big legal battle. You're right. And I think 2 of them are swing states. I want to say Wisconsin, and I forget the other, where they're already on the mandated state ballot. Diana, in Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court is in the tank. They're incredibly progressive. They want drop boxes on every doorstep. So they would just say, well, this is an emergency. To your point, by law, it doesn't look like they could do it. But I think if you have the Supreme Court in your state, they will do it.
Okay.
I hear you, though, and it's the right instinct. We want to keep Biden on the ballot. We want to keep him on
absolutely.
To the bitter end. We're rooting for Joe here. Absolutely. All right. Who's your person, Diana?
I actually have two. I came up with Elton John, and the second one is Rick James.
All right. Well, which one do you like the most?
Well, Elton was the first one, but I don't know of too many Eltons. So I would go with more common names. I would say Rick James.
All right. Very good one. Rick James, kind of a troubled performer, to put it mildly there, Dan. Well, Elton John went on a pretty F-bomb tirade defending Biden, too, at an event with Biden standing there. All right. So 855-839-1210. Yeah. You get on board.
I can go for some Rick James on your Wednesday.
Oh, God. All right, so we got a lot of breaking stuff today, but the bottom line is use the 25th Amendment to make a broader point about Kamala Harris. And, Dan, I'm not going to forget to play this one. Coming up, his name really is Brandon, the mayor of Chicago. Guess who he blames for the fact that 100 people were shot? 100. That's a lot. Even in Kraserland, that'd be a lot. Over the July 4th holiday in Chicago, I think 17 killed. He goes back a ways. Who does he blame for those killings in Chicago on his watch? That's straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Yes, that's why I'm so elated. Come on, girl. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Our bike ride is coming up Sunday, July 21st. If you want to sign up, if you want to ride, get to GregStalkerSucks.com. Almost at $16,000. If we get another 4,000 or so in, Greg Stalker will have to ride 65 miles. And a big shout out to David Gelman and GelmanLawFirm.com for being our jersey sponsor. These beautiful jerseys if you're going to ride on our team this year.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Inflation fears started in 2021. The warning signs were everywhere. But Senator Bob Casey ignored the warnings and sided with the liberals in Washington, voting for trillions in reckless, wasteful spending. And all that reckless spending made inflation worse, driving up prices on almost everything you buy. Now, Pennsylvania families are paying the price for Senator Casey's reckless spending. Our state's been hit the hardest by higher prices. With Senator Casey's reckless spending, grocery prices are up 25%. Rent, it's up 21%. And electricity's up 29%. Senator Casey helped create this mess. And now, Pennsylvania families are struggling to make ends meet. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act, and fight against inflationary government spending. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it. Between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Why are you paying for an AC system that's struggling to keep you cool? If you hear something funny, smell something burny, your AC is frozen or leaking water, or even feel warm air coming from your AC, it's time to call CNC. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox dealers, can make it a no-sweat summer for your entire household with one phone call. 0% financing options available. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit cc-hvac.com to request your estimate today.
I am a father.
I am a mentor.
I am a wife.
I am an artist.
I am a husband.
I am a friend.
I am a sports fan.
I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Hey, Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Are you gonna do it? Well,
All right, Dom Giordano show, and Philadelphia Inquirer coverage at least gives you what happened here about just the outrageousness. You have a beautiful family, Fitzgerald family, Temple cop, and then you have this family who, shall we say, is troubled with the alleged shooter coming to Temple. Chris Fitzgerald sees him. He's all masked up. He's playing a video game. He starts firing. He hits Fitzgerald. First of all, Fitzgerald should have had another cop with him, but of course, with Temple and their nonsense, he didn't. Remember that? He wounds Sergeant Fitzgerald now, and then stands over him and kills him. Now, that is completely the death penalty. Krasner doesn't have the guts, this little creep, right, to even tell the family personally. He doesn't have the decency, guts, / everything. He's not going to go for the death penalty after 17 months. He has one of his chiefs deliver that message to the family. The thing that bothers me the most with this is they're getting away with it. How is it in America that we lost the idea of the death penalty? The left is good at this. They chip away with it every second. Making people believe we ought to take a look when you take someone's life in cold blood, definition of first-degree murder in Pennsylvania, wherever it is, following that, we have to look at other factors. Did you have a pony when you're a kid? You didn't. Oh, my God. We have to look at the other person here. We have to look at was there torture involved? And in this case, Dan, they can't look at race. The guy that was killed is African-American. The killer is a punk from the suburbs, well-heeled family. Not that any of that matters. How did we get to this point that we're talking the language of the left? I don't do that. To me, it doesn't matter who you killed. It doesn't matter the way you did it. If you knew what you were doing and you killed them based upon the first-degree murder statutes, I would love to take 500 attorneys from Krasner up and down the line, debate them any place. I'll debate them in North Philly. I'll debate them anywhere they want. And Josh Shapiro and his son you can throw in. Let him go to college first, Dan. I don't want to have any advantage. We shouldn't look at the death penalty with all this Chinese menu that the left has put in. It's clear. You have no right to take a life. The only defenses are if it is in self-defense, things of that nature, or it's accidental.
Yes. Yesterday we had the widow, Marissa, join, and I pulled some audio that you asked for, her talking about her kids and just the deep impact that this obviously has on a family, but really bringing it to, what it really is that they're going through.
Christopher adored and loved his children so much, and each one of them had their own special relationship with them. And when you wake up every day and you don't wake up to your dad either playing with you or singing with you or joking around with you or just having the house be filled with just laughter, it affects all of them in their own personal way. There are times where my youngest daughter cannot sleep. She has to sleep with me, and, I don't like sleeping in my room. And so it's been hard. My son, both of our sons are struggling. They get upset often, or they go and scroll through their old messages that, their dad used to send them, and listen to the voice messages. And they still text him to this day. I recently went through my son's phone, and he's constantly texting his dad, I wish you were here. I wish you would come back, Dad. Or when we go and visit him at the cemetery, he'll text him, we're on our way, Dad. We're on our way to see you. And when you see something like that, I don't understand how nobody can get their heart broken and just feel like torn to pieces. This should have not happened, and my family and I should not have to be going through this at all.
Well put by the widow. And again, these creeps on the other side, well, it's not going to bring anything back. See if it's your loved one. Here's what it does do. It sets a barrier. If we do it often enough, we do it properly. It is a self-defense for us against the mob that's out there, led by Larry Krasner. That's what it's about. And I don't care what the problem was with the parents. I have no feeling. I'll admit it. I'm not going to be a phony. Well, I have feeling for this 18-year-old. I have nothing. It's all wrung out of me by things like the Fitzgerald family. I'm proud of it. I have nothing, no feeling for this. Absolutely. Boy, he's a human. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing that over the years. And I'm more tired of how clowns like Josh Shapiro can offer up, well, his son convinced him, and the rest of the world goes, oh, well, that's fine. How in the world did we let them do it? How in the world did we let them take away the death penalty? They are relentless. They're like termites eating at the system. Again and again and again and again, we go back to this. Even though technically, by polling and everything else, the death penalty, people still believe in it. And again, I throw caveats with it. I know Dan would say the same thing. If you're on trial for your life, we're going to spend the money. We spend the money on everything else, meaning we're going to get you the absolute, not just best attorneys, but what's important, investigators, so that you can get the defense. And after that, if you're convicted, you do have appeals and all that, okay. But at a certain point, and well before 20 years or something crazy, 5 years maybe, you're going to get the death penalty, and we're going to carry it out up and down the line. That's the way that it should work. And, DNA evidence cuts both ways. Krasner only sees it as always DNA evidence indicates nobody did anything. He's a hero. He brings criminals back to the neighborhood, and everybody believes nobody's guilty. It's the cops. Not only that, in here, Dan, and he'll be on today, Dr. Fitzgerald, he makes mention of the fact that Krasner's hatred, he doesn't say hatred, I'll say hatred, shall we say antagonism toward the police plays into that, toward law enforcement. It certainly does. He hates the cops. And the mob that put him in there, I'll never forget it. I don't care what the cover-up is. On the night that he was elected, they were screaming themselves, blank the police, blank the police, blank the police. You fill it in. You know exactly what they were doing. So, again, our minds are on the presidential race. But my mind broadens from Krasner to Washington. Harris particularly. We're fighting progressivism. We're fighting the damage. Sometimes it's silly. We just get annoyed with them. And here, it's deadly. Dan, what's the full statement from Krasner?
No, I have a full statement from the Fitzgerald
Dr.
family.
Fitzgerald. Okay.
Yeah, you want
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Fitzgerald reinforces why Philadelphians should recall Krasner reflecting on a 2023 meeting he had. So this is within the longer statement.
Right.
Meeting he had at a district attorney's office, quote, "During our first meeting with Krasner, I was floored. He actually shared why he lacks confidence in the criminal justice system that he represents. It all emanates from a negative experience while serving as a member of a jury that imposed a harsh sentence. This is but one of several reasons that he is unable to effectively perform his duties as an elected district attorney. Christopher's is the first case of a police officer being killed that his office will prosecute, and instead of rewriting an already flawed script on crime and punishment, he has allowed hubris and an intense disdain for law enforcement officers to cloud his judgment. Krasner is unable to divorce himself from years as a defense attorney and has tipped the scales of justice one way. The mayor will not say it, but he is an anchor to the city that he adopted."
Yeah, look, I understand the political situation with Terrell Parker, Dan, and I don't have inside knowledge, but if Derek Green is not running for district attorney, he ought to be out there right now saying that and using this as a moment to say, even in Philadelphia, have you lost your mind? Progressives have. They have no problem with this. They don't want the death. How dare you? And what's the possible argument against the death penalty here? The evidence is overwhelming of what happened here. Yes, Dan.
There's more from the family, specifically about Krasner. Quote, "We have watched in shame as Krasner cherry-picks select members of marginalized communities to provide their support and continues to allow criminals to return to the streets and reoffend. We can no longer stand idly by while other elected members of the city stand mute on this topic. Despite any best-laid plans for a safer city, we question how that reality can be achieved when you feign a working partnership with someone like Krasner who subverts your goals."
Yeah, I understand the politics of it. That is beautifully put. He'll be here at 2:30 today. And again, the outcry is not that deep, not as much as it should be. It should be deafening. How have we let them win on something as elemental as the death penalty? All right, coming up, Dr. Ben Carson. Could he be the VP choice? And what does he think about President Biden's current condition? That's all straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
An excessive heat warning remains in effect for the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly sunny, very humid, high 95 with heat indices over 100. Tonight, humid, partly cloudy with a shower or storm possible, low 74. And Thursday, partly sunny and not quite as humid, high near 90.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, big issues, big guest. One of our favorites, Dan, is with us again, and particularly so many questions to ask. Let's bring in Dr. Ben Carson back to Philadelphia. Dr. Ben, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Always good to be with you.
Well, Dr. Ben, how do you see it with all these developments, first around President Biden and based upon the debate, most medical experts, they're not diagnosing, you should never do that, or telling us from afar, but that there are obvious issues here. What does Dr. Ben think about it?
Well, I've been talking about it for years now. It's very clear that he's experiencing some significant cognitive declines. And the real issue is, should somebody like that be at the helm of our nation? What if something happens? We've been very fortunate so far because we have an open border. We have all these people coming in, some of whom are certain to be terrorists. And the grace of God has kept them from attacking so far. We're very fortunate, but we can't continue to count on good fortune. I mean, we have to use the brains that God gave us. And, for the Democrats, they have to come to the understanding that our country is much more important than their political party. Both sides have to always recognize that. And unfortunately, we've reached a stage where that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's about ideology. And there are those of us who want to maintain a country that is up for and by the people, and there are those who want a country that is up for and by the government. They're two very different things.
Dr. Ben, on another front, heating up on the Republican side, you're a prime candidate to be the VP choice, and our listeners think that would be outstanding. I remember when you first ran for president, we were at CPAC, hundreds of people cheering Dr. Carson, coming through the hallways of that big hotel there. When you ran in 2016, you did well. Who were the typical Dr. Ben Carson voters? What were they looking for to you? What did you take away from that was your strength, a demographic or people that were going for you?
Well, obviously conservative people, people who think logically and who don't, try to rely on identity politics. And people who are proud of our country. And, I think those are the people that I appealed to at that time and probably will appeal to this time around as well.
Can I add one more demographic onto that, Dr. Ben?
Yeah.
Because I see it. My wife loves you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really think you shine with women. I don't know what it is. What is it about you that just really, really has such a deep impact with women?
Well, probably because of my story. Because, it has been women who have been responsible for my success. My mother was just an amazing person. And, I can't say enough about my wife. We've been married for 49 years. I couldn't make it without her.
Yeah, I just saw the other day you celebrated, I think you were on a boat that I saw the picture of on Twitter, 49th anniversary. Oh, my goodness.
That's right. And then throughout my professional career, I had a senior PA who started when I was chief resident and who was with me until the day that I retired. I couldn't have done it without her either. So women have been a very important part of my life.
Well, on the other side, let's talk about Vice President Harris. When you mentioned no identity politics, I guess it's happened before in U.S. history, but I can't quite see it, that you have someone who couldn't even get a vote in the primary, dropped out, yet ends up not just as a vice president, but as a vice president with an older president who was already showing signs of difficulty and maybe hoping he's reelected, she'll become president without ever getting a vote in a second term.
Well, this is the kind of situation that occurs when we rely on identity politics, when we rely on, DEI and things of that nature, rather than selecting people who would do a good job. And we've got to get to that point. We were well on the way to that point before a bunch of progressives started being in charge of our country, starting with the Obama administration. And, they have really sent us backward in terms of the great progress that we were making. And we need to seize that again. I think one of the reasons that Donald Trump is gaining so much traction, even in deep blue places like South Bronx, is because he's not into identity politics. He believes that a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's what people really want. They just want fairness, general fairness. I think the other thing is people recognize that our country is in deep trouble when we use our justice system to go after our political foes. And we've become just like a banana republic. We are a banana republic. And we probably have a relatively small amount of time to reverse course before something even worse happens.
You said something that I think is logical, factual, what you just said about a banana republic. What do you say when the Biden people, Dr. Ben, say, though, you guys on the Trump side and Trump are always running down the country? What country are you seeing? We stand with America's great. Why are even Dr. Ben Carson calling it a banana republic?
Well, because it is. That's what a banana republic does. It uses the system to go after their enemies, does not really care about fairness, uses power in an inappropriate manner, and you call it what it is. That's what is happening. And we have to be willing to not only identify it, but to fight strongly against it, because once that starts, it's very, very difficult to reverse it. You look at how many countries went communist and then came back. Now, Hungary is one notable exception, but very seldom does that happen.
Yeah, I think there, because of the people actually fought the communist tanks, they were in the streets and all that, so maybe there was an underpinning. Dr. Ben, what are your plans at the convention? Are you going to be a speaker?
It appears to be that way right now. I think the final schedules are still in the process of being worked out, but I'm looking forward to being there, to seeing everybody. There's a lot of excitement because I think this time around we recognize that even though there may be some irregularities in the election process, we're really paying close attention to it now.
Yes.
I was on the phone with a lot of people in Pennsylvania last night, talking about Trump Force 47 and how people can get involved and can volunteer and can be poll watchers and need to be trained, because you have to have people trained so that when somebody comes up and say, you can observe this polling place, but you got to do it from way over there where nobody can see what's going on. No, you don't. You don't have to accept that. We need to train people on what they can and cannot do. And getting at least 100,000 volunteers across the country. We're not gonna let it happen again.
So people would go to Force 47. Is that the website, Dr. Ben?
Yeah, Trump Force 47.
Trump Force 47.
There are places all over the country where you can get involved.
Are you, I'm thinking of public statements, though. If you were chosen as VP, you're ready to serve, right? You're on record saying that?
Absolutely.
Well, that's good news. That's good to hear. There's a lot of support here, particularly Dan's wife, Maisie.
Maisie just got so excited, yeah. I can tell you right
now. Well, let's just pray that we make all good decisions, not only VP, but the people who are around the president are vitally important. And in the first administration, there were some problems. And we really want to make sure that we get the right people.
Exactly. Dr. Ben, good luck. We'll be watching you at the convention. Thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Dr. Ben Carson. Dan, I think one time, I didn't want to do it today because he's here on another mission, but I just open it up and just try to get inside. How in the world did he do that surgery?
The one with the separating brains?
That's just an example. I mean, it's unbelievable skill, et cetera. But you know, if you don't want to believe in God, you don't want to believe in that sort of thing, I don't know. I just don't see that it's divinely inspired in addition to his own skill. And he's so self-effacing. The worst time that I had him on is when these clowns in Detroit took his name off the medical school. It's like a charter medical school stuff for kids in Detroit that are at the high school level, and they took his name off, I think because of supporting Trump or something like that. My God, this guy is a phenom. It is a remarkable type of thing. Do I think he's going to be the VP choice, though? No. Dan, you're still in the camp? You think he is?
I think he could be.
Okay.
No. I think he's probably my front runner because I think he wins out of everyone out there. He doesn't like playing identity politics, and I think that's fair. But I think it's a reality of politics. There's a portion of that, and I think he wins the most demographics. He checks off the most boxes.
Make your case with me, though. I'm drawing down to a finer point. Let's face it. I know listeners don't like to hear it, but it's the truth. Trump has broken through. We got great stuff going with groups that other Republicans can't get.
Mm-hmm.
It's the suburbanites.
Mm-hmm.
It's women in the suburbs. So you would go to the Mazie file and say, well, Dr. Ben can certainly do well there.
I think what Dr. Ben presents is I used to love, when I lived in Indianapolis, I would go to the Colts games a lot, and at the time the coach was Tony Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a book called Quiet Strength, and it goes into detail about the power that comes with, just dignity, quiet dignity. You think of a lot of characters, movie characters, and that just have that power, but they don't have to yell. They're just so respected that, in a quiet voice, everybody shuts up and listens. I think Ben can really turn into that person pretty easily in a, debate forum. And when you have Trump, who's the loud, aggressive type, it's like fire and ice. You bring in Ben Carson, who's the more quiet. You put him on the Sunday morning shows, and he's perfect fit for that,
I like the aggressive, so I admit my bias on there. I wouldn't mind too aggressive
I don't
people
think you need too aggressive, though.
All right. Listeners won't be honest, Dan. They're going to agree with you on this. Because it's a nicer forum, and it might be more effective. Maybe that's what suburbanites want. Too aggressive people, that's it, we're out.
I mean, I think it's been a while since we played that Donald Trump Jr. cut. He has
let's hear him. Yeah, here's what he said, Donald Trump Jr.
Talking the VP stakes, what are you guys thinking right now? Everyone knows I've sort of been for J.D. Vance, but whether it's Marco Rubio or Doug Burgum seem to be some of the biggest contenders. I know a lot of you guys, and including myself, would Ben Carson be great in that role? And I think he'd be perfect in that role at any other time in history other than perhaps right now. And the only reason I say that is because I think he's literally too nice to deal with the sociopaths that we'd be dealing with, whether it's the media or otherwise. And we need to be able to play on that front. And unfortunately, that's not the easiest thing for anything.
All right, Dan, I'll tell you what I think. The quiet dignity is good, but I want an occasional fastball too. I want somebody who appears to be above the fray, but then at the right moment is a killer. That's my ideal candidate.
You think Dr. Ben can employ sarcasm?
A little bit doubtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the way. Because I don't know if he can be that aggressive, in your face kind of type and flip the switch as you're suggesting. But I think he could turn people into jokes with his intelligence if he used sarcasm and other types of humor that way.
I'm picturing him in a debate with Kamala Harris. Just the epitome of the American success story. And then Kamala Harris of the knockoff fake American dream. The DEI candidate versus a guy who actually did it.
For example, though, if you're in a debate and, Ben's not going to yell at Kamala, but if Kamala says something stupid, I think Ben is appropriate person to mock it. And I think it would have a very deep impact if he were to mock something like that.
I hear you. I would wish for that, but I don't see mockery in him. I mean, he's a better man for that, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I want the mockery, not constant, not coming out of your chair, but at the right moment. Kind of like me with Joe Sestak at Cheney. That's the type of thing I want.
How important is integrity? Because Mike on youtube.com/@12 from WPHT says, I would trust Dr. Carson's integrity over and above any other possible VP candidate.
To me, it is, and I know to you, but in the real, pitch and battle back and forth, is that it? I don't think so. I mean, he's impeccable. He's beyond belief. Do you offer that up as a template that this is really what the American dream is? All right, jump in, tell me. Particularly women out in the suburbs or otherwise, do you think Ben Carson? Pretty hard to dismiss him, but Clarence Thomas, Ben Carson, Constantly dismissed. That's the media game. 855-839-1210. You get on board. I don't think Don Trump Jr. was being mean or just dismissive there. But I think that's what sadly, that's what we've come to. That's what the downside of this is. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. If you never called before, Ben Carson, is he on paper just miraculous? But in reality, if he were the VP, does that do anything? What does it do? Who does it appeal to? How does it help? All right, get ready for a gift from Rescue Natural Supplements. It's their Christmas in July sale. That's right, the season of giving is making a summer comeback with huge savings. That means all health supplements will be slashed up to 50, 60, even 70% off site-wide. Treat yourself with savings on heart-healthy omega-3s, pain-relieving anti-inflammatories, natural immunity boosters, and a lot more. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Don't miss Rescue's Christmas in July sale. Shop savings up to 70% off all natural solutions for your highs and lows, from high blood pressure or cholesterol to low energy or testosterone. Rescue's got you covered, so hurry on over and unwrap the joy of a healthier you at res-q.com. Do it today.
It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Just look what they're doing to Robert Kennedy. They got his family to go against him in Philadelphia. And I have to say this, that family looks like there's a whole lot of problems there. I know they're trying to play off on the Camelot magic of JFK. It's definitely been bred out of the family. The magic, I think, is gone. But that's just me.
The Saturday Night Free-for-All. Listen this weekend. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
It's day 7 of the heat wave. Temperatures will feel like above 100 degrees. DA Larry Krasner will not seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing Temple Police Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald. And Pennsylvania unveils a new license plate design that will start going on cars next year.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol-Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can. Is there any better time than summer grilling season for a cold Jack and Coke? Jack and Coke in a can. Born for the backyard. Available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty 7% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
Right back to you, Dom. I got to monitor this press conference. It's about to start with Dr. Joel Fitzgerald and family on Christopher Fitzgerald and the DA Larry Krasner decision. We'll have more on that next hour.
That's right, and we have Dr. Joel Fitzgerald at 2:30 today. Big interview here on a sad day around that. Look, Dr. Ben Carson is the American dream. Does he move the needle? And the VP guessing game is unbelievable. One of our records, I won't say a name, said, he revealed he's going to be the nominee by saying he hopes again he'd have the same support he did in 2016.
Did he let it slip?
Yeah, I don't think so. I will be surprised. You know, and I'm the only other thing with Dr. Ben, I haven't seen him recently, Dan, it is the abortion issue. If I'm Trump, and again, a lot of people, I have to give a lot of credit, Dan. I know the talk radio listeners are deeply pro-life, in the best sense of that. But when they hear these candidates that have this history, no exceptions around abortion, things of that nature, the national abortion ban is even worse because it's not consistent with being a conservative. It's not.
He called for that in a recent.
Yeah. So I think Trump is hopefully knowledgeable on this. The last thing we want them to be able to do, the last thing, is to run out the clock talking about abortion. They're going to try to do it. But we don't want it. And Trump has masterfully put himself into a position. Well, here's Kamala Harris yesterday, Dan, telling us whatever Trump says, she doesn't care. This is cut 10.
So make no mistake, if Trump gets the chance, he will sign a national abortion ban to outlaw abortion in every single state.
All right, here's the thing. Trump has beaten him on this. They're still going to try it. What else do they have? What else can you do? You keep on saying, well, why do they keep trying it? Because around the edges, they think they might work. They might land it in some angle here. But Trump is almost impossible on this stuff. Early on, Iowa, he put this out of play, at least against him. So you don't want to bring a VP in. Now, the VP, I know what they can say. They can say, well, I follow the president and his policy. Don't think you're going to get away with it, though. The media and Democrats, they will harp on this. They have nothing else. If we can take the oxygen away from this, that is a big step to beating him. And that's really all that matters here. The only thing I'm looking at is the final score on election night. Well, God knows when election night ends, right? And the way to do that, the Secretary of Offense, that Scott Presler is out there. The Secretary of Defense in Pennsylvania, Linda Kearns, is there, voter integrity. And with those two coordinators, we're going to do better than the Eagles this year. All right, phone lines, 855-839-1210. Dr. Joel at 2:30. We've got a real good one going on. Bryce Harper comes back last night. Paul George people that have two first names, famous people. That's what we're looking for. Maybe historic, maybe real, fictional. It doesn't matter.
From
Hit us with one.
YouTube.com/@12 from WPHT. Go like and subscribe. How about Dr. Ben Carson?
That's right. Carson and Ben. Yeah. Works very well.
The former Eagles quarterback.
Yeah, and you said Harper. Harper's one of those names could be male or female, right? Yeah.
Bryce, too.
Bryce, too. Yeah.
Bryce and Harper.
Yeah. Or who is it that calls us all the time?
I didn't ask for this.
Not a male.
Alan.
Alan, not a male. Right.
Alan with a Y.
Alan with a Y. Yeah. All right, so it's all in the house here. 855-839-1210.
We are Nancy and Robert Harding, and we became Crash Proof members in 2018.
It is important to go to a Crash Proof event. I went to the event. He wouldn't go.
I tend to be a little more skeptical.
He's skeptical.
If you're skeptical of the Crash Proof event, I'm probably the best witness you could get. I am convinced now. With the Crash Proof system, the interest gets credited to your account, and then you make interest on that new principal amount. I saw the 12% return. The compounding on that is going to just push our value up that much quicker.
Double-digit interest is possible any year, and he can thank his wife for going to that event. Can't you, honey?
Every good husband knows that that's what he should do. Listen to his wife.
Only Crash-Proof Retirement can guarantee peace of mind in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Gotta be fresh.
Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
It's hot out there, and your inefficient windows mean high utility bills all year long. Window Nation sells some of the most energy-efficient windows you can buy and was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free, plus 0 down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule an in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
Keswick Theater welcomes the Oak Ridge Boys on August 2nd, the Little River Band August 10th, and the Righteous Brothers on August 20th. Tickets are on sale at keswicktheater.com. That's keswicktheater.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Dan, if it were Dr. Ben Carson and Kamala Harris, the first real DEI potential president, I think I'd work into the conversation due to the medical background of Dr. Carson in this debate. The Duke Medical School, which just by their attitude and the School of Medicine, I'm not going to a doctor that is a Duke graduate or anything affiliated with them. The Duke School of Medicine released a strategic plan recently claiming that having a sense of urgency is part of white supremacy culture and suggesting that forcing this expectation on people of color is discriminatory. All right, now one of the greatest things to have in life, I think, is a sense of urgency. You can take it too far. I admit I might be going a little too far at times, Dan, but don't you want a doctor with a sense of urgency? Get out of here. Come on, come back in 6 years. You're fine. Get out of here. Come on now. I'm eating a donut here. That's patient. They go on to say, in the workplace, white supremacy culture explicitly and implicitly privileges whiteness and discriminates against non-Western, non-white professionalism standards related to dress code, speech, work style, and timeliness. some identifiable characteristics of this culture. And I want to go through these too. Perfectionism. Now, look, we might know some people who go overboard. But I think as a society, we've been lecturing people a little bit too much, saying, well, you don't have to be perfect. Perfectionism is a bad thing. Meanwhile, Dan, the kid is on his math homework that night, 1 out of 22. Well, that's good, Johnny. You got one. Dr. Joe Biden. Joe, you answered every question. Yeah, but how do I do? That's perfectionism, Joe. You answered everyone. That's all you need to do. They believe there's only one right way, power hoarding, individualism. The Duke School of Medicine doesn't like individualism. Well, that's the core of our society. Titled Dismantling Racism and Advancing Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion in the School of Medicine. The document says the goal of the plan is to catalyze anti-racist practice through education of our current and future doctors and workforce. The dean, Dr. Mary Klotman, praised the plan. The plan reflects the School of Medicine's goals, priorities, and strategies. We're proud of our longstanding commitment to diversity and excellence. Do those two things really go together? Shouldn't it just be excellence across the board? And how could individualism and urgency, the headline at the New York Post, now, the New York Post, Dan, may go a little too far. They say, headline, expecting people to be on time is part of white supremacy culture. Well, timeliness. Think of Dr. Ben. Think about what he's done. Think about his road. And then alongside, think of Kamala Harris, who might be president without ever getting a vote cast for her. Certainly if Biden wins, very doubtful, in a second Biden term, then we would see her take over without ever getting a vote. All right, the other person I want to center in on today, look, sometimes we go after people routinely. It's like Springsteen. I don't know. I know Dan will never tire of going after Springsteen, and I get it. I get a little tired of it at times, Dan, like, Springsteen again. Can't we check that box? The box I check with Springsteen, and I know you're monitoring the thing, Dan, but the box I check with Springsteen is, what a fraud. The jumping thing with his daughter across Europe, the $1 billion, whatever it is. Buddy, you don't know any of the stories that you peddle to be at. That's the biggest thing that you don't like him as an entertainer. You don't think he's good.
No, he's terrible.
He's terrible. Okay. Yeah. That, I have a bias
he's
toward.
Redundant.
Yeah.
Grading.
Yeah. I have a bias toward all-out effort, so I'm not as bad on that. I just think the core of his storytelling is the big thing. It's fraudulent. He's a fraud. All right, so George Clooney now. Clooney, you may remember, did this event with the wifey and Clooney. I think this one was in Hollywood. It might have been in the Hamptons. I think it was Hollywood. And they raised, is that the one they raised $28 million? It might have been. It's just a matter of weeks ago. Clooney had extensive access to Biden, raises all the money, trying to push him over the finish line, without a doubt. And then today, he comes out, Biden's got to go. Not, maybe the president will think about, no. Biden has to go. That's where he is. Now, even for Clooney, and Clooney has about him that he's a moral superior. He's the voice of that. The wife has the same thing. And the wife is the one that wants Netanyahu to be tried as a war criminal in the same manner as Hamas. That's what they're about. When we went to Italy, the low point for me last summer was having to go by Clooney's house, Dan, because he got a jetty to go out there like a mile into Lake Como. Not Cuomo. That's not a lake. Lake Cuomo. What the heck's
Perry
going on? No, the Cuomos, yeah. Clooney, I love Joe Biden. We need a new nominee. How does a guy call for him directly to leave when he just raised that money, saw him up close, said not a word about it? He was going to push that over the finish line. Now he's concerned that they couldn't get away with it. It's Hollywood. Tag in the extra. Tag Kamala in, I guess. It is amazing to me, even for the Clooneys, to put this type of thing out there. And Obama, and that's the one. That's the one where President Obama had to, Julia Roberts there. That's the one where they had to lead him off the stage and hand him off to a handler. That one, the $28 million or so. So people are saying, what is it with this guy? Well, here's a guy who I don't think knows a whole lot, first of all. Right? He's a handsome guy. He can act a little bit. Made a lot of money. And yet was going to say nothing about this, was pushing to get it over the finish line. And now he's got to go. Got to get him out of there. What's changed? He hasn't been that much worse or any worse. At that event, he was bad. We saw it with Obama taking him off the stage. He's leading the charge now, calling for Biden to leave the race. Maybe his wife will say he's a war criminal. He supports Netanyahu. Probably right up there with the most hypocritical, just way overrated couples as far as their intelligence, knowledge, and worth would be the Clooneys. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, you just push pound 1210. Let's go to Joe in Exton, Dan, who's on the road today, apparently. Hey, Joe, where are you traveling to?
Lidditz.
Joe, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm in Lidditz.
Oh, Lidditz. Oh,
yeah.
Joe, wait a minute now. You know the fable about Trump in the past. Do you see any Russians there in Lidditz?
No, not yet.
It's apparently a big Putin hangout. That's where they met with Trump and all that banking stuff, Deutsche Bank and all.
Well, it's a beautiful country out here.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Joe. So, Joe, what do you have today?
Yeah, for the side question, my double name person is Victor Hugo and Les Miserables.
Yeah, that is on brand, Joe. Very high class double first name. I'm a big fan of Victor Hugo, too. Joe, what are you doing in Lidditz?
You know, shopping too at the shop named Ziggs.
Oh.
It's a bakery, and they have a lot of Amish food there, too.
What's the best snack, according to Joe of Exton? The best dessert?
What was that cake?
Yeah,
okay.
Cake's always good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Kind of basic, though, Joe.
Yeah.
There's an Amish cake, Amish apple cake.
Oh, okay.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
sounds good,
Well,
fancy.
enjoy
I like
Lidditz, Joe. Thank you. Thanks for calling in from Lidditz.
So I do have some audio from the
Yes.
presser. If you
Yeah,
want.
let's hear. Now, before we get Dom's Money Melody, here's the press conference. This is with the Fitzgerald family. I guess Krasner's not having a press conference on this.
So what happened? What's going on is right now it's the lawyer who's asking the family members questions, and where this picks up is it's Marissa Fitzgerald, widow of Christopher, talking about a direct message to Krasner. So the lawyer asks for what would be your direct message to DA Larry Krasner. It starts with Marissa and then goes to Dr. Joel.
Okay.
What I would say is, well, I'm sure he'll see this, is how dare you? How can you, knowing what we're going through already, how can you allow yourself to already have made up a decision in your mind and string us along and make us present to you on why my husband's case deserves the death penalty? We watched videos of my husband getting executed, and it's like it didn't faze him at all. It's how can you not think that this doesn't deserve the death penalty case? I just don't understand it. I think it's so disgusting of you to sit here and string us along knowing that we're hurting and that we're in pain, knowing that my kids wake up every single day and want their dad here. And now I have to sit here and explain to them Why? When I don't even have a reason why, because he won't give us a reason. We asked for that reason. He won't give it to us. He won't speak to us. At least have some decency and respect for us to let us know why. But you're willing to have a meeting with a cold-hearted murderer. And we have to ask for meetings to meet with you. Make it make sense.
What's really disturbing is that his intense dislike for law enforcement has taken over his decision-making process. And that's the real danger to Philadelphians. If he feels as if that a punishment, a potential punishment, like the death penalty in this case, is not warranted, do we think it stops at just police officers? No, we'd be myopic to think that it would just be police officers. There are families of homicide victims and survivors out there who now can expect that the highest punishment available to a judge or jury to consider will never be offered them. And that's the problem here. His disdain and dislike for the police, his contempt for families that will stand up for themselves and stand up for their loved ones has overridden his decision-making process. And that's why we feel like Krasner should step down or be put to a recall vote.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for piecing out all that. They're apparently calling upon the Attorney General to refer the case to the new prosecutor, the SEPTA prosecutor. And I don't think she will due to Josh E. Shapiro. And when I hear this, just thinking of that pain, that agony, occasionally, Dan, we hear from the father of Sean, our buddy Anne-Marie doing the Sean Toomey doing the big event there at 5 Points in Northeast Philadelphia, being the leading charge on that. 14 years of age, getting the water in from the car, killed by these maniacs. Dan, I think he texted me the other day some of the fun stuff the alleged killers have in their juvie setup there. I don't care about your age. I really don't. I don't care it's 18 in this case. That's plenty old for this. I don't care about anything. I'm dispassionate on this process. You take someone's life meeting the requirements of first-degree murder. I don't care if it's a big mouth like me. I don't care if it's someone like Roe, who everyone loves. I don't care if it's Mother Teresa. I don't care if it's a drug dealer. I don't care if it's somebody I agree with, don't agree with politically. Every single time, it's the death penalty. That's it. There's no other consideration here. And there's no consideration. Look, if someone, Dan just mentioned Victor Hugo, right? And the guy stealing bread to feed a family and all. Okay, that's a mitigating circumstance if that's really true. You know, you look at that. But there's no mitigating circumstance on shooting this officer, standing over him, and then taking his life. There's no mitigating circumstance. When it comes to this, there's none of that. You can, as a defense attorney, play with it all that you want. And progressives in Philadelphia can't feel that. They don't know that. Josh Shapiro never will. It's political with him. He figures it out. He can get away with it in Pennsylvania by citing his son. Amazing. So we'll talk with Dr. Joel at 2:30. 855-839-1210. You get on board. But right now, Dan, it is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
All right, today we're playing for a pair of tickets to tour the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey. I've taken that tour, broadcasted. It's fabulous. For more information, visit battleshipnewjersey.org. All right, Dan.
Tom, today we're asking for people with two first names. This person is going to sing a song sung by one of your favorites of all time. They appeared on Masked Singer singing this song. They do have two first names. A clue I'll give you is, I think, one of the most disappointing replacements of all time, but I think a lot of people would disagree with me. So, Dom, we want to know who today's cover singer is. Take a listen.
Yes.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Oh, my God, get the hook. Get it. Get that hook.
Unusual to have fun with anyone.
Oh, God.
When I see you hanging about with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I wanna die.
How is this allowed? Have Taylor Swift
so
do it.
auto-tuned, too. It's pretty bad.
Oh,
it's pretty
my
bad.
God.
Yeah.
It's as bad as Taylor Swift doing the great Eminem. Sir Tom Jones, Knight Tom Jones.
So that performance from Masked Singer Season 3, Don, we are looking for the cover artist today that has 2 first names, one of my most disappointing replacements of all time, but I think people might disagree because I think they still like the show a lot.
All right, hit us with that. You're the winner. You're off to the Battleship, New Jersey. If any Krasner comments, any Clooney comments, they're all wrapped up in one thing, progressivism. Clooney saw what Biden was like. He was backstage. They were there for hours. He saw Obama lead him off. Here's $28 million. Now go and get across the finish line because we hate Trump. And now today comes out firing. Joe's got to go. 855-839-1210. That's how you get it.
Find that you've changed at any time. It's not unusual to find that I'm in love with you.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head and just over $30,000. That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. Optima Tax Relief. They're the best in the business.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
There's no need to wait. The time is always right at Colonial Hyundai. Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Cars Are. Today's the best day to buy a new car at Colonial. We have over 200 vehicles in stock. New Palisades, Konas, Tucsons, and the exciting EVs that have taken the world by storm, the Ioniq 5 and 6. We understand that everyone's needs, budgets, and challenges are different. But here at Colonial, we take the stress out of buying a new car. Big incentives, like $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed no matter the condition. The best financing in the business, no matter your credit, with rates as low as 0%. Plus, we streamline the buying process so you can be in and out of our dealership in no time without any unnecessary hassle or waiting. So why wait? Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Lincoln Highway in Downtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
0% financing applies on select 2024 new Hyundai models. $6,500 for your trade, not available on EVs. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for more details.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Join Team Kale and Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. SBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders, and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com. Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money. All right, it's rare, but Dan may have stumped the universe here on Dom's Money Melody. Dan, we may have to give another clue here. Give us a clue or two. And then I had no idea either. It was bad, but I don't see this guy even coming close to this. I'm shocked.
Let's trigger it. Let's make it quick. There was a sitcom that this guy starred in, Dom, that was based largely in a Midwestern city that didn't get enough love, and the entire theme song was built around the city's name.
Okay.
Yeah, is that enough, you think?
Well, he might give what he's done.
The city was in Ohio.
Okay, but how about after that? What else has he done?
He's now a substitute that I'm not a big fan of for a daytime game show.
A big one that's storied. Yes. Who is that? Who is this? Quickly, 855-839-1210. Not bad considering who it is, but it's horrible.
Well, that's what auto-tune can do for you. I can make you sound good, probably. Battleship New Jersey tickets on the line. Dom, we'll probably take the answer off air if we get one now. So we can move on here.
I'm sorry, 855-839-1210. We'll take it off air.
Yes, we can. We'll announce the winner here. So, Dom, take it away.
All right, Dan. You've stumped them. Amazing.
I love it. I love when this happens.
All right. One other note before I take some more calls at 855-839-1210. The debate prep that Trump was engaged in, and he was, which shows he's buttoned up, and that's a good thing. One of the people working with him was Matt Gaetz, reported today. And Gaetz was channeling what Biden would do. Okay? And one of the things they wanted Trump to not engage in is no retribution threats and not appearing to celebrate some of the January 6 supporters. And I think that's good advice. I'm looking at what the strategy is, and I think it's very sound to what Trump is doing this time, very buttoned up. And where we sit right now, things are hard to believe they're looking this good.
All right, we got a winner, Dom.
We got a winner here.
Yep, Jeff in Hatboro.
Let's go to Jeff in Hatboro. Hey, Jeff, good to hear from you. Who is singing the song?
Mr. Drew Carey.
Absolutely, Jeff. Nicely played. I'll put you on hold. We'll get that off. That's kind of shocking. Okay. So,
and a horrible replacement for Bob Barker.
I want to get a couple of people on the side thing here. We got Dr. Joel Fitzgerald coming up after a very emotional press conference. But those are all the latest developments. And to me, it's a good day, the bottom line, every day that we wake up and we see that what? We see that Biden is still hanging in there. Tomorrow is going to be, I'm not sure what time the news conference is, but that will be a big moment. If he gets by that, by any stretch, I wouldn't say he's home free, but I think he's a long way to still being the nominee. And that's exactly what we want. By every indicator, that's what you want. I think Harris, Josh Shapiro, would have a much better shot than Biden-Harris. Not going to get away with it with the debate. All right, let's go to Robert in Ben Salem on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today. Dom, you have an amazing show. If you had come to me after playing Mrs. Fitzgerald talk about her kids, I literally would have been too upset to talk to you. And if you had come to me after talking about Julie Behar's sexual arousal, I wouldn't have been able to stop throwing up, okay? My goodness. Oh, that woman's disgusting. But at any rate, I just wanted to say that I don't think Dr. Ben Carson, as great a person as he is, has the fire for right now on what we need to accomplish with the vice president. But I really hope that he has a huge role in the administration because he is
Robert, I want to interrupt and say thank you. You're an honest guy. You know where we love the guy. He's the American dream. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think he's the best VP choice for exactly the reason that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that I'm not a J.D. Vance guy, but I think that intellectually he is perfectly suited for the job because he seems really good at throwing the media's nonsense right back in their face. I've seen him do it a couple times.
Right. So
I
like that. And the only thing between him and Youngkin is this, and you and I are not sitting there with him. If I were sitting there day to day, and that data says that Youngkin can move it a point in Virginia, you hear the math. If he wins Virginia, if Trump wins Virginia, by all things that we see right now, he's going to be president. Doesn't even have to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
And he's going to win Ohio, and the Republicans will pick up the Senate seat in Ohio, whether he picks J.D. Vance or not. Sherrod Brown, your days are numbered.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get right to my side question. I'm a music guy, and while he did not invent the electric guitar, Les Paul revolutionized it and created the Cadillac of electric guitars. So I'll go with Les Paul. And you guys have a great day, man. Awesome show, Dom.
Great. Thank you, Robert. Let's take Paula, because this is a big one, Dan. We should have taken off the board. All right, Paula, who's yours?
Who's mine? It is Michael Jackson.
Yes, that is a big. He was never called Mike either, that I remember.
No,
I didn't hear anybody ever calling him Mikey or Mike. Yeah.
Nope, that's right. I love you guys.
Thank you. Thanks very much. All right, there's too much of that stuff. Knock it off there.
So much love today. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of love for Maisie there, too. Ben Carson kind of like, well, Maisie. Who's this Maisie? All right, coming up, we're going to talk.
She's going to be so excited when she finds out that Ben Carson now knows who she is.
We got to get her on here with the green eye shade, too, on YouTube. Coming up, we have Dr. Joel Fitzgerald, and you heard a little bit from that news conference. It's amazing as he takes on Krasner. Also, before we get out of here, Donna Sheeran over there in Souderton, the state representative, really doing great work. And Democrats, progressives, trying to thwart this. I'll tell you before we get out about what she did on the squatter bill. The Senate passed it universally. But guess what? Democrats, progressives in Harrisburg, they've tabled it. They don't want to get squatters out of your house. They think society's bad. Maybe the squatters should come in your house. Just another reason why we have to defeat them every day that we wake up. All right, Dr. Joel next on Talk Radio 1210 with Dom Giordano. Hey, summertime is here. The living is easy. And all you need for summer gatherings will be easy with just one call and visit to your nearest Captain Chucky's. Get the all-new wild shrimp scampi ravioli. Chucky's teaming up with Vera Pasta, offering lobster, crab, and now wild shrimp ravioli. We had a test at Roe and I. Passed the test. Send more. We loved it. Order the brand-new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. This is a winner. The Bang Bang Crab Cake, delicious, creamy, 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. And Roe is bigger fan than anybody of that. Perfect time, too, though, to realize that Captain Chucky's has delicious stuffed mushrooms, salads, sides, desserts, soups, appetizers, all that stuff. And they always use only the highest quality ingredients. The Gulf shrimp, huge hit. Always well caught, wild caught, never farm raised. And, of course, take a moment, get that Dom roll, my favorite. There's a location of Captain Chucky's near you. Just go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com. WeLoveCrabCakes.com, headed to the shore. Don't forget Captain Chucky's there, too. Captain Chucky's at the shore.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
An excessive heat warning remains in effect for the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly sunny, very humid, high 95 with heat indices over 100. Tonight, humid, partly cloudy with a shower or storm possible, low 74. And Thursday, partly sunny and not quite as humid, high near 90.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee If it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
It's day 7 of the heat wave. Temperatures will feel like above 100 degrees. DA Larry Krasner will not seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing Temple Police Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald. And Pennsylvania unveils a new license plate design that will start going on cars next year.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Don't count on summer heat to melt away those extra pounds. That doesn't work. But here's something that does work, and that's NJ Diet. For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. No shots, no prepackaged meals, and no surgery. NJ Diet is fully supervised every step of the way to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by are available from anywhere with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, you're with Dom. Momentarily, we're going to talk with Dr. Joel Fitzgerald, the dad of Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, killed at Temple University, police officer, you may remember. Dan has some more sound from the family today at the news conference. They're just wrapping up. So if you have something on the side question today, 2 first names, jump in now, because if Dr. Fitz gets on with us here, I may just go to him and we have to juggle things. So get in now if that's the case. Here's a little bit more from the news conference today, talking about the one time they met with Krasner, how tearful they were, and apparently Larry Krasner could not emote about this. One second, Dan. Couldn't Krasner, look, we get it, his stance, at least say, I feel your pain, be tearing up too. How could you, just mentioning Sean Toomey today gets me to think of that dad. I mean, how could you not? And if you have to say, but I have to look at this more broadly as DA, I can't look at this emotionally on that side, at least that's partial. No, this guy couldn't do that because he doesn't have that humanity on this. And I tell him to his face, anytime, anywhere, Larry.
Right now, Cipriano's asking this question if you want to go live to that, or we can go to the meeting.
I think the meeting, Dan. Let's hear the meeting.
I'll be a little more coy, as Larry Krasner would be with his answer here. And that is, he did seek our input. He allowed us to come to the DA's office and put on a presentation that the prosecuting attorney would normally put on before a death penalty review committee of people that he stacked on that committee. Not people that are overly objective, that come from all walks of life across Philadelphia. These are people that either work for him or work with him and share some of the similar beliefs about death penalty cases. To have a family that's already aggrieved come before you and have to put on a professional presentation on why the death penalty is applicable, why this case hits all the prongs of a death penalty case. You reporters do your job very well in Philly. You know what the prongs are for death penalty cases. And for us to have to put on this presentation, in many ways better than some attorneys probably would do, and make our case, to not have a dry eye in a room other than Larry Krasner and Listenby, it tells you a lot about what the intent was beyond what I called in a previous communication a kangaroo court. We had to go through that motion. We had to put on the best presentation possible, but ultimately, in the back of our minds, we knew that this decision was made.
All right. So again, don't you think, just on a human level, that you would be tearful, that you would be feeling that? Now, it doesn't mean you're going to agree with them. Or let me put it even more bluntly, Dan, don't you think on some level of humanity plus some level of artifice, just for the sensitivity of the family, between those two things, don't you think you would be tearful? Not this guy. No, not this guy. All right, here we go again. We haven't talked about him for a while because we're on to other stuff. Let's link it here. What's the linkage to national politics? The linkage. Kamala Harris today, interview with The Nation, saying these kids on college campuses and others, they were expressing exactly the right human emotion when it comes to Gaza. She went on this whole thing about these women don't have water. The Israelis stopping that. They have flour, but they can't cook. This is the sickness of this. Krasner is just at the high end. I would tell you I've seen every political figure, some of them pretty up close, in the last 30 years, 35 years, Dan, doing this. He is number one. I defy you to tell someone more arrogant than this guy. He doesn't have to express any of this. He's got the mob on his side, and he hates cops. They're right. All right, let's go to...
So Cipriano just asked about a potential alleged thing that he's hearing, that they're going to try to plea him down to a third-degree case.
Yes.
That way he can get out when Ralph says, quote, when he's my age. But, man, does this really ring to Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Yeah,
like, is that not really what happened with Danny Faulkner? And
yeah. Well, this is critical. Now, Cipriano is the only one on it. The rest of the lazy media, Dan, not doing their job. We're on it. That I believe that Krasner is trying to find a way that this guy not get life imprisonment either. I'll ask Dr. Joel about that. That ought to shock people even more. The death penalty thing here is shocking and how he dealt with the family. But the fact that, would he try to do that? Yes. He's banking on the fact that he knows how to get this core of believers on his side in Philadelphia. So it's one thing if you're against the death penalty. I can respect that if it's honest and it's based on some other, but not in this case. I try to temper it with some people, convince them. But not even life imprisonment. Doesn't that tell you what it's about? And he is scheming to get Mumia Abu-Jamal out of jail at some point in time. Without a doubt, that would be the crown jewel. Bring Mumia home. On days like this, I think of the Toomeys. I think of Maureen Faulkner, no matter the fact that was 1981. And I think of the Fitzgeralds. But this is such a great family. They make it difficult even for Larry Krasner. All right, let's go to Joe in Westchester, Talk Radio 1210. All right, Joe, we're under time here. Give me your name.
It's Joe from Westchester.
Yes, Joe. Who do you have?
Yeah.
Not your name.
Yeah, well, I have
I see Danny Thomas, Joe. I'll put you down for that. Robert in Percy, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert, who do you have?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks. Yep, founding father and true patriot who called Philadelphia's home, inventor and most famous Philadelphian, Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. Franklin can certainly be a first name.
I'm still giggling about Dom. What's your name? Dom Cheer.
I know. We're going to get that. Let me go to Tom in Rosemont. He's playing with the judges with this one here, Dan, throwing this one in. Hey, Tom, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom. While I prefer Marianne, Tina Louise, who played Ginger.
Why the Marianne preference?
See?
How do you come down on that side?
I think it's an overall, the spirit that she gives off. She was not a bimbo. So there you go.
Well, I heard, though, wait a minute. I have the interview right here, Tom. This might change your mind. That Dawn Wells was a big soccer fan.
Well, then I'm definitely going with Tina Louise.
Yeah, well, that was fake news. I made that up. You're a witness. Hey, Tom, when I have you here, I know the type of law that you do, but do you have a sense, wherever you come down on the death penalty, how have we gotten to a point where people on paper say they're in favor of it, but the people that get elected are not, and it doesn't seem to do them any damage?
Dom, here's a real quick take. Krasner, don't even think it's Krasner. George Soros is the DA of Philadelphia, and he is the one who has no soul, no concern for anybody except how he can influence people regardless, because nothing affects him. He is far above, with his billions, anything that touches human beings.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Krasner is top of the line of what's happened here. By the way, the shout out to Donna Sheeran, and hopefully we'll have her on the show tomorrow over in Souderton. The Senate, Dan, universally, as I understand it, passed a bill to make it easier for people to deal with squatters. And this has become such a huge thing. The Pennsylvania Senate. The House would not agree, and they've tabled this because of Sheeran's amendment that would make it a lot easier. The details are, she would amend the proposal to give law enforcement permission to remove trespassers, Dan, immediately upon probable cause based on a signed affidavit by the homeowner and impose increased penalties for property damage. Now, we're going to get into this tomorrow with her because that's exactly, can you imagine these people are in your home and you got to go through all this nonsense because of some ancient laws and people standing on that? No. Get them out of there.
Hey.
And this mechanism,
Wow,
the
that sounds
progressives,
so much like the drop.
yeah, do not like it because it takes immediate action. They stand with us. Well, what about the poor squatters? How do you know? We got to follow ancient law. I'd love to debate them on this.
Get them out. Get them out of here.
What do you think of the head Democrat from Philadelphia, McClintock, if her house were taken over? Do you think there wouldn't be 1,000 cops there dragging these people into the street?
Get them out. Get them out of here.
Absolutely there would be. Nancy Pelosi's house taken over by squatters. What would happen?
Get them out.
The
Get them out of
Clooney's.
here.
Georgie Clooney. What would happen?
Get them out. Get them out
I
of
love
here.
that drop.
Thank you that's the Sharon drop for the future. Donna, way to go. We'll get you on tomorrow on this. All right, I'm coming to your calls, and we may get to Dr. Fitz here in a moment on Talk Radio 1210.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
The amazing 4th of July mega sale is underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Purchase a qualifying Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliance package and choose 3 years of additional warranty or a rebate up to $2,500. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchuk, PNC Bank Regional President. What's important to you? What drives you? What do you want your wealth to do? At
PNC Private Bank, we call that your why, and we want to understand yours. Maybe it's creating a legacy, buying a home, or enjoying your retirement. Whatever your goals are, we'll work with you to build a personalized wealth plan to help you achieve it. So tell us, what's your why? To learn more, please visit pnc.com/privatebank. PNC Private Bank is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Inc. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. I've been telling you about one of the greatest finds of Mama Zioli, besides me, of course, and that's our dentist, Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. As you know, my entire family goes to Dr. Mike, whose level of care and commitment to dental excellence is unmatched. You know, it's now July. We're in the back half of the year, and if you haven't been to the dentist yet this year, hate to break it to you, but you're overdue. It's recommended visiting the dentist twice a year. I'm not trying to sound like Mama Zioli, but what are you waiting for? Be careful, baby. Dr. Mike and his staff makes it so easy to have that beautiful, healthy smile that we all want. Dr. Mike has been named a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. He has one of the most respected reputations among his peers as a master of dental implants. I promise you won't be disappointed with Dr. Mike Veneria. So if you're on the fence about getting that dental procedure done or going to the dentist, get off the fence and reach out to Dr. Mike today. With 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, schedule your appointment or free implant consultation today for your perfect smile. Call 856-786-2020 or veneriadental.com.
Get ready to hit it out of the park every time you fire up the grill this summer with Hatfield. Swing into action with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham, bacon, and your favorite Hatfield Phillies Franks. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, Hatfield pork is food you'll feel good about serving. From home or at the ballpark, find your flavor with Hatfield, the official pork provider of the Phillies. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Hey, Warminster, we know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano's show. Without further ado, let's go right away to Dr. Joel Fitzgerald, fresh from this news conference. Dr. Joel first, and then I just want you to tell us wherever you'd like to go. Thank you for what you're doing for my loved ones, for me, future generations. That's what this is about, and I know it takes enormous strength to do it, but you guys are doing it. So what's your biggest takeaway that you'd like to tell us from this experience with Krasner?
Well, the biggest thing, Don, first of all, thank you for continuing to be interested in the story and for, just following up and making sure that, we get an opportunity to speak to you and your audience about this person who's unfit to serve as the district attorney in a great city like Philadelphia. Throughout this process, we had the hope that Larry was going to be genuine in what he told us, and that was initially that he would listen and that he would evaluate everything on its own merit. Unfortunately, we found that not to be true. Our feeling is that he came in with the predisposed notion as to what he was going to do. You, me, and everyone in Philadelphia knew the dirty little secret, and that was he never intended to pursue the death penalty in this case. And as I've stated in the interviews, he was, this is the first case that his district attorney's office under him has actually handled. And, in reality, if this is atypical, which I hear from from other families and other victims of crime that the lack of contact that you get from him, the lack of empathy, the inability to process or get beyond the fact that, law enforcement are involved in arrest and involved in these processes. If that's a barrier to his communication and his decision making, then he's unfit to serve as district attorney. We need somebody in that position who can divorce themselves from the time that he spent as a defense attorney and make sure the scales of justice are even. And he tipped the scales today another way. And again, that's doing a disservice to the city of Philadelphia. There's been many opportunities for the mayor and other politicians to weigh in, and they stood mute on this subject. And we are calling them out today and saying you can no longer do that in the city that I was born and raised in, that Pauline was born and raised in, that Marissa and the kids decided to stay in and live in because Chris gave his life there.
Absolutely. You talked, I believe, we played a clip of the conference you had with him where you had to present the prongs of the capital case here, a murder case, and not a dry eye in the house except for Krasner. It doesn't surprise me, but Dr. Joel, you're a public man too, as I am. You would think any humanity, you'd be able to at least, even if you're not feeling it totally, emote to the family and then say, but I have to look out for all of Philadelphia. If you can't even do that, you're unfit as a human being, let alone as a DA in Philadelphia.
We wholly agree. I mean, as a family, my wife has had to put on presentations in front of the district attorneys that she's worked for. We're no stranger to standing up and having to, be eloquent in our delivery. And we understood, who we were presenting in front of. We understood the gravity of the situation. And we presented professionally to him and ensured that they understood that every action committed by this heinous killer, was done consistently with, consistent with the potential for receiving the death penalty. And, we ran through the video with them. We stopped the video at certain points to really, expand upon why his actions hit the prongs. And I think he was unprepared for us being prepared. I think that, it was, and my wife and I have talked about this. She's next to me and she can hear the conversation. We really do believe that he expected us not to know what we were doing and not to be able to make a coherent argument. And fortunately, we know better. And, we made a compelling, more than compelling argument. And some would say even more compelling than some district attorneys. Unfortunately, it was a sham. And, we can't look at it any other way. Had we not participated in it, Larry Krasner would be able to go out and, speak at the next engagement that he's showing up at and say that I gave them every opportunity and they didn't take advantage of it.
Dr. Joel, let me interrupt the question that Ralph Cipriano has been on, and I'm not sure if you know the answer, but it is very important. Do you have any sense that Krasner will not even go for life imprisonment as the ultimate penalty? In other words, because of the age or something else, he might be going for something lesser?
I would tell you that every indication to me is that he has been angling to do less than the entire time that he's had this case in his hands.
Wow.
He has not taken it to court quickly, right? He has extended this a year and a half. He has had a family come up and present in front of his quasi, death penalty committee. All of these things have been, I believe, items that we forced upon him and we forced him to confront that he's never had to confront before. And then in the end, what do we get? We get an answer and a typewritten message that the chief prosecutor reads off to us saying that I gave you all I could give you, but this is my decision.
So he did not even have the dignity, the decency to bring you back in, explain in full, or at least phone conversation with the family.
Absolutely not. And that's all we asked for yesterday.
He did not give the reason yesterday as well. It was just, this is it. We're waiving the death penalty. No reason that the prosecutor could tell us. She said he did not give her that reason, and that was all we were left with.
And mind you, Dom, we've reached out to the office over the last few months at least 4 times asking what the status of the case would be. You would think in a year and a half you would have a decision as to, what you would pursue as far as the penalty is for any case that you have where the person has admitted to murder and that you have that murder captured on video. That's why Ralph's question about the bring down, it leads me to believe that there is something going on in the background and that there is some type of predetermined, let's say, a span that they believe this person is going to spend in prison. And that is something that every Philadelphian that's listening needs to be intimately concerned about.
Absolutely. Dr. Joel and Mrs. Fitzgerald, again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because the dignity in presenting this, but also the two of you know your way, the firmness of it. It's so, and I can't even imagine in the middle of all this to do this. As you just said, it's for all of us. In the Philadelphia area, I even see this as nationwide, exactly what we're up against. So I would invite you, if you feel up to it after all this, because we're flat out of time, potentially coming on tomorrow at a time of your choosing, and we'll work it out. Once you have a thought process going on of what's happened here, if you want to do that, you don't have to say so now. Dan will text you or whatever. But thank you, and thanks for coming on today.
Well, thanks for having us again.
Yes, thank you. We just wanted you to know Marissa's on the call, too. She's just listening in.
Well, thank you. Thank you all, Fitzgerald, for doing this. Marissa, thank you, too, very much.
Very, very heart-wrenching, this press conference.
Sorry about the lack of time today, but thank you very much.
You take care and keep doing the good work you're doing and exposing this person.
Thank you. The Fitzgeralds and Dan will work on this, and if they want to come on tomorrow, there's a lot more here to talk about. Thanks to Dan. Look, we'll give you the winner of the side question tomorrow. Sorry, but this was just so compelling, so breaking. They are doing it for us. The death penalty is a defensive move to protect all of us against people, too, like Larry Krasner. Thank you, Ralph Cipriano. Thank you, Dan. Rich the Always Show is next. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that moment in time, her life changes forever. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
I'm Monica Ricks. About 150 million Americans are dealing with more extreme heat today across the country, including Death Valley, where highs will be close to 130 degrees. Park Ranger Jeanette Giordano.
The extremeness of this park is one of the reasons it makes it special.
KCBS radio reporter Matt Bigler says this heat is proving deadly.
At least 14 people may have died from heat stroke in the Bay Area. 3 of them were unhoused. Homeless advocate Sean Cartwright is not surprised.
Your body is not made to basically be left out in the heat with no food, no water.
She's passing out water at encampments as temperatures once again climb into the triple digits.
Las Vegas could break a record today with a 5th consecutive day of heat over 115. Testimony has begun in Alec Baldwin's manslaughter trial in New Mexico following opening statements. Special Prosecutor Erlinda Johnson.
The evidence will show that someone who played make-believe with a real gun and violated the cardinal rules of firearm safety is the defendant, Alexander Baldwin.
Baldwin maintains he never pulled the trigger, and when instructed to point the weapon at a cinematographer's camera, it misfired. President Biden is working to boost support now after his debate with Donald Trump. He met with trade union workers today in Washington.
Food prices are still too high because of corporate greed. We're in a situation where rents are too high. We need more housing. A whole range of things we're going to get done with your help in the second term.
Major Democratic donor and actor, though, George Clooney, he wrote an op-ed out today urging Biden to drop out. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says NATO military aid is on its way to Ukraine.
The transfer of F-16 jets is underway, coming from Denmark, coming from the Netherlands, and those jets will be flying in the skies of Ukraine this summer.
Two NASA astronauts who've been stuck on the International Space Station for weeks say they're confident Starliner will get them home safe.
The spacecraft will bring us home, no problem.
Astronaut Suni Williams saying the issues in the capsule's thruster system, including leaking helium, are being duplicated and explored by Boeing and NASA. 5 thrusters failed as the capsule approached the space station on June 6. 4 have been reactivated and they could get home now, they say. But the service module, SM, would be discarded and burn up during re-entry.
That's CBS's Michael Toscano. And if you're feeling lucky, you may want to head to Vegas. The Mirage has to give away $1.6 million before shutting its doors for good next week. It's closing to make the Vegas Strip. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Next week, Rich Zioli will be at the center of the political universe in Milwaukee and the Republican National Convention. Listen afternoons 3 till 7 every day next week for live coverage of breaking news, the inside scoop from top political experts, what's happening on the convention floor, and the issues that matter most to you.
Which candidate will defend our democracy and freedom? Power always resides with the people, always.
Rich Zioli live from the Republican National Convention. Afternoons 3 till 7 all next week. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
We're expecting some overnight rain down to around 74. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 90. Friday, cooler, 81, but thunderstorms will be around. Saturday, high 89 with more thunderstorms. Sunday, 93 and partly cloudy. And on Monday, we're back up to 97 with more thunderstorms.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America. Fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
WPHT, HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The revolution will be broadcast. This is the next generation of talk. Now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, Rich Zioli.
The pylon continues, and the guy behind the pylon is a man named Barack Obama and all of the people in his orbit. The pylon is intensifying. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here today. 855-839-1210. And on Twitter, at Rich Zioli. It's Wednesday, and it's already a crazy day, and it's only 3:06, so God only knows what the next couple hours are going to bring us. But I can tell you that the Obamas want Biden gone. Now, does Biden have anything on Obama? that he could use as leverage. No, I don't think so anymore, because that was their whole thing with that chef who died in the swimming pool. I think whatever goods they may have had in Obama went away with that. So now the only question is, what goods does Obama have on Biden? And for that, we turn to the Hunter Biden laptop. He's not going to survive this. I'm telling you right now, he's not. It's every day. And George Clooney, who is Obama's spokesman, basically, George Clooney coming out. And I should mention, congratulations are in order to Huma Abedin and Alex Soros. No relation to George Soros. I'm kidding. That's his son. They just got engaged. So that's nice. You know, it'd be a great wedding gift. Or he could, like this radio station, it could be a nice, he could, anyway, I'm going to move right. Anyway, so congrats and all the best to the happy couple. Obama is calling the shots on everything here. And Joe Biden is not long for this world. Bottom line, not long for this world. George Clooney and today Michael Douglas, Meathead Rob Reiner, the vampiric one Nancy Pelosi. It's just cascading. There was a story today that the Dems had stopped the flood and the dam was whole. The dam's not holding. The dam is broken. And there is no, Paul Krugman came out today. And I'm going to read you a statement in a second by Obama's speechwriter, John Lovett. And what he said. Chuck Todd has come out and said a senior Biden cabinet secretary told me 2 years ago he can't run again like this. Pelosi snapped at a reporter today in the hallway, the vampiric one. I will just tell you this. If I'm the Secret Service, I am dousing the White House in garlic. I'm hanging garlic from every window. I am putting a giant wooden cross on top of that White House. I'm doing everything I can to ward off the vampiric one. That's me. I take security very seriously because I don't know if the United States Secret Service is equipped to deal with a vampiric bat. I just don't know. I don't know. But if not, now's the time. You just got to put garlic around. That's the key right there. And remember, never invite her in because vampires need an invitation to come in. They can't just come in. All right? Now, I've told you for a while now, if you listen to this show, and if you do, you're an incredibly smart person with a great sense of humor. So good for you. If you listen to this show, you know that for months now, I've been saying to you, actually as far back as last year, I didn't think Joe Biden was going to be the nominee. Or the candidate, actually. I do think he'll be the nominee initially. I told you that for procedural reasons, but I've been saying he's not going to be the candidate now. I was saying that last year. I know it's very fashionable now for people to say it, and I'm only saying that not to brag, but I'm saying that because your time is valuable. It's the most valuable thing. And you can't get it back. So when you invest your time in this program, I want to make sure you know that it's not being wasted. You are getting value for your time. And that is, I hope, a different way of looking at the world, different perspective about what's going on, and hopefully a way to look at it that's not just surface level. And I always try to look beyond just the headlines. I remember many, many, many years ago, as I was trying to get into radio, I pitched the program director of WPHT at the time, Ed Palladino, great guy. Pitched him a show idea. I wanted to call it something like Behind the Curtain or something, where I would talk about what goes on really in politics behind the curtain. And we shaped that into something that we would kind of never do. But I would incorporate it into my show eventually when they would start letting me on the air. It's going back like 2010 or something. But that's the way I try to look at things. Like, what's really going on behind the scenes besides just what you hear on the corporate media? And you got to go a little bit deeper than that. And I'm fortunate in the sense that I worked in politics. So I worked in politics for most of my career, and then I got into talk radio. I didn't come from the world of radio. I came from the world of politics. So I was behind the scenes. And I was in the room, and I also was behind the curtain, like literally behind the curtain. I mean, off stage while my candidate was speaking. So I have a different way of looking at things. And I remember last year when I first predicted that Joe Biden would not be the candidate, I said at the time, it's because of the Hunter Biden laptop. It's because they have the goods on this guy. And if they need to take him out of this race, they will. Because everything that they try to do to cover up the Hunter Biden laptop in 2016 or 2020, now they're going to use it to their advantage to get him out of the race. And I've given all these different scenarios for how Joe Biden could exit the race. And the key at this point is getting this old decomposing vegetable out of the race in a way that preserves his dignity. That's what he wants, and that's what he'll agree to. Everything right now is a negotiation. Everything that's happening right now is a negotiation.